Good evening. Have you heard there's a kickabout on at this tea time? Of course you have. Welcome to England against Germany. Oh, we've had some battles over the years. Remember the goal line technology goal? That wasn't given?
Surely crossed the line. It's not been given. Surely that was. Here we go. Oh, it's so far in. Was it beaten up once? Technology. Thanks very much, Atlanta.
France under one. England ran riot in Munich. Michael Owen scoring a hat-trick in a 5-1 win.
What a shot for the hat-trick here. Owen. Oh, this is getting better and better and better. 1, 2, 3 from Michael Owen.
Stand these two teams playing in a semi-final or a competitive knockout tournament at Wembley in Euro 96. England had a perfect start, but then Southgate's penalty miss denied us the chance of the final.
Post a little flick on. It's a goal for England. Shearer has done it again. His fifth goal in 5 games. The start from Brian Robson. Delight from the English fans. And the perfect start. Helder again. The cross is in there. Kuntz. It's 1-1. It's right as well. Saved it. Oh my word. Follow this David Seaman. The Germans go into the final. And England are out.
And then England, before that, Chris Waddle and Stuart Pearce missing in 1990. Oh, you couldn't bear it.
Would you want to be Chris Waddle now or even Stuart Pearce?
But a repeat of 1966 tonight will do very nicely indeed, sir. Let's have more of that.
Yes, Ken, it would be absolutely tremendous if we could have the same again from our commentator, John Kane, who will be joining us very, very shortly. Let me go through the two lineups for you. England have named this side: Pickford in goal, Walker, Shaw, Stones and Maguire across the back. And then we've got Trippier, Sterling, Kelvin Phillips, Saka, who starts, and Declan Rice and Phillips, incidentally, will be the two holding midfielders. Saka will play, I believe, on the left, I think. Harry Kane up front. So it means that Jack Grealish and Mason Mount miss out. And a lot of people who were calling for Jadon Sancho, well, they'll be disappointed, of course. Jurgen Klinsmann's threat for Germany. Sterling starts on the bench. As for Germany, well, Thomas Smoller starts, having missed the last game. Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, the two Chelsea men, also come in. Also, there's the experience of the likes of Manuel Neuer, Matt Hummels and Josh Kimmich, and Toni Kroos is there as well. So plenty of still experience in that German lineup, and one or two survivors still from the 2014 World Cup winning squad. As regards yellow cards, England have been quite lucky in some respects. Phil Foden, who's carrying a yellow card from a previous match, he starts on the bench. There are three starters from Germany. That's Ginter, Kimmich and Havertz, who all have yellow cards. If they pick up just one of those yellow cards tonight, they will be out of the match. So all to play for then here at Wembley tonight, as the tension is building up. We're 10 minutes away from kickoff here at Wembley Stadium, and there's going to be an estimated crowd of around about 45,000 here tonight for this big match alone. We've had so many battles. Let's hope this one doesn't go to penalties, and let's hope England get on the right side. I've got Kieran with me, our special guest. Kieran, what a buzz, what an atmosphere it's going to be, and well, what do you think of the England side? Is it a good choice from Southgate, or have they been too conservative by playing two holding midfielders? That would be my worry. What's your gut feeling of the side? Well, Saka coming into the side will be a real positive.
I think Saka may have a bit of an impact to the squad, but there's a couple of players in there that I think maybe shouldn't be playing. But I'll keep my views to myself. I'm not going to make my views on this squad. Russ knows what I was talking about earlier on, but I'm not going to say my views whilst we are on the air. It's disappointing to see that he hasn't given the likes of Mings, Cody, Grealish, he hasn't given them a decent chance. I was half expecting him to play that 5 at the back, drop Cody in the middle. And if you've watched Cody play for England before, you can hear him. He commands that back line. So it's obviously it might sound biased for me being a Wolves fan and Connor Cody being a Wolves player, but
don't you worry.
End of the day, Connor Cody's a great centre back. He commands the back line.
Yes, he does. Go on. It's
definitely going to be interesting to see how we're going to go, especially with the Germany side as well. There's a lot of experience experienced players in the Germany side, like Neuer, Toni Kroos, Muller. They've got some very experienced players, so definitely be an interesting one.
Yeah, and I was against Tyrone Mings' inclusion in the squad at the start because I'm obviously being a Burnley fan. I wanted James Tarkowski to be in the squad, so I'm, I always obviously have my say on it around about the tournament, but this has really got to be the day as well from a striker's point of view. Kane up front, he's got the nod. Southgate's giving him another opportunity. Does it? I mean, this is a big chance now. This is almost like the Kylian Mbappe syndrome in a way, because like Mbappe, Kane hasn't really come to the party yet as far as the tournament's concerned. And I just hope all this talk about a move to Manchester City doesn't really put him off too much now. He has to have a big game tonight, you think, Kieran?
Yeah, he's got to come out of this goal drought. I mean, look towards the end of the season, he was getting a bit sloppy with his goals, and he's not even scored a single goal this tournament for us. It's all been the likes of Sterling. So
Sterling's got both goals. We've only scored 2 goals in the entire tournament.
That's what I mean. How have we scored 2 goals and made it to the round of 16? I'll never know. But he's got to definitely do something. He's got to pull his finger out his backside, so to speak, and actually stop sucking his thumbs and actually go forward and try and actually score. But you don't know what's going through their minds. I'm hoping for a win tonight, but we'll certainly have to wait and see. Could this be just a normal, boring England game? You never know.
Well, we might be pleasantly surprised, Kieran. We might get a really good game, I hope, anyway. Now, Kieran, I know you're not one for making predictions, but how do you think the game's going to go? I'm not going to ask you for a scoreline here because I know it'll be a lot of pressure on you, and we don't want to blame you for what may happen. But how do you think, from a neutral's point of view, when I'm talking as a strictly neutral before the teams come out, hopefully John Kane will be ready to receive us in a few seconds. How do you think the game's going to go as a whole, from a neutral's point of view? Do you expect a good match, or do you think it'll be very nervous? Because after yesterday, it's got a lot to live up to, hasn't it?
Yeah, I expect. I'm just looking at pictures of Harry Kane looking at the German team like I'm going to screw you over. It's a tough one to call. Knowing England, this could be a scrappy, boring, possible win. I don't know. I'm not going to say a scoreline, but it could be a win. But I'm not getting my hopes up, to be honest with you. But it's going to be an interesting game, and we'll see how we are at half time. We'll go from there.
Absolutely. And we'll hear from you again at half time. Thank you, Kieran. The German players are in the tunnel there. I've just seen Joachim Low looking very businesslike. Remember, he leaves the job after the tournament. It could be his last game today, or it could be further into the tournament. We don't know. But England and Gareth Southgate know they have to win. Now, the big question is, before I hand over to John Kane, our commentator, is, has Gareth Southgate done what I've been asking him to do all tournament? Bring back the waistcoat. I haven't seen him yet. There's Harry Kane there in the tunnel. He looks very businesslike, and what a game he needs to have. Jordan Pickford, who's kept 3 clean sheets so far. Maguire keeps his place. It's such a great atmosphere now building. Oh, if we can get a good start and get a good result tonight, that would be fantastic. Well, the teams are in the tunnel, and if John Kane is there, we'll bring him in. So England against Germany for a place in the quarterfinals of the Euro 2020. Let's hand you over now to your big match commentator. Come in, John Kane.
Thank you, JB, and thank you, Kieran, and good afternoon, everyone. And here with the start of a big game, big arch rivals in Germany versus England. Let's start quickly with the national anthem of the German team. That was the German national anthem. We'll be giving you the lineup in a few seconds. We're just away for the English national anthem. And here is England with a national anthem coming up. That was the English national anthem. As we know, France are out yesterday, Croatia, Portugal, Netherlands, Austria, and of course our other home country, Wales, all out. Let's hope that England do not join that list and progress to the next round against a good German team. It might be the results didn't work out that well for Germany, but the German efficiency is always there, even with the worst possible scenario as far as the German is concerned. As for the English, well, let's hope that Harry Kane will start scoring. Hasn't scored any goal yet this tournament. It's been 2 goals for England, both from Raheem Sterling. But as far as England fans is concerned, any goal today would be a good goal if it was from Kane, Sterling, or even from Jordan Beckford. Let's start with the English formation. Jordan Beckford in goal, Stones, Maguire, Walker in defence. In midfield, Shaw, Rice, Phillips and Trippier. And up front, supporting Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling and Bukayo Saka. As for the Germans, they're full of experience in that team, as JB was mentioning before the game, and there's plenty of Bayern Munich players as well. Of course, not mentioning 3 of them, well, 2 of them, in fact. I thought Werner was playing. 2 of them play for Chelsea. Neuer in goal, Ginter, Hummels and Rudiger in defence. In midfield, Gosens, Kroos, Grotza and Kimmich. And supporting Tony Werner up front is Havertz and Müller. So yes, it was 3 Chelsea players playing for the Germans tonight. And of course, let's hope that their Champions League success doesn't carry on today with these 3 players. We'll wait for the official to blow his whistle for today's game. The game, of course, that JB was talking about earlier with Gareth Southgate waistcoat, the famous waistcoat, and I'll be letting you know if he is wearing the waistcoat, in fact, which is a good omen for Gareth Southgate and for England. We are a few moments away from the starting. The players doing the knee from both sides, the English and the Germans. The English in the normal white top from right to left, and the Germans in the dark blue colours or dark black colours from left to right. And the referee has blown his whistle, and we're off and underway. The Germans with the ball, and it goes forward, but in no man's land into the hands of Jordan Pickford. We don't want to see Jordan Pickford today picking up any ball from inside his own net. We've seen Spain struggle to beat Croatia. The Belgians didn't concede, but it was a tight game against the Portuguese. The Dutch, they went out. And of course, Frank de Boer has also left his position as manager of Holland. Italy, of course, they've beaten Austria, but it was only after extra time. And the Danes so far, they've been probably the most consistent team at the moment in this in the knockout stage. They won comfortably over Wales, and the French. Of course, we know what happened to the French yesterday. If you've been following us or following what's happening in the tournament, the French, the favourites, are out. The ball head towards Maguire, but there's a foul on Thomas Müller on the English defender. In fact, sorry, I do apologise. It was Harry Maguire's foul. So it's going to be a free kick in the middle of the German half. And we can see Stones and Maguire up front, Trippier and Luke Shaw. It's more or less on the left-hand side of the pitch. And Shaw cross it inside the penalty area, cleared by the Germans. The Danes. The Danes played well, but no, it's the Germans who are playing today. And the ball goes all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Pickford hoops it forward towards Harry Kane. And Harry Kane, but it's just a bit too much for Harry Kane into the hands of the reliable Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer, he is probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world. We know what he can do and what he can't do. And the things that he can't do are very, very minimum. Even though he's going up in age, the German goalkeeper, but he's been very reliable. Now the Germans on the attack. And now Götze going forward. Pass it to the right-hand side to Kimmich on the edge of the penalty area. Kimmich cross it inside the 6-yard area. And it cleared by Kyle Walker into corner for the Germans. And it's the first corner kick for Germany. And the first corner kick of the match. It was good interception by Kyle Walker. It was just standing in front of the German player. And the best thing is to head out safely to a corner to Germany. Corner to Germany. From the left-hand side, applied by Kroos. Heads it away again by Walker to the outside the penalty area. To Guzens, to Kroos again. Toni Kroos. Pass it short to Havertz on the left-hand side. Cross it inside the penalty area. But it was a bit of a poor cross and it's cleared by England. And it goes to a throw into Germany. 3 minutes on, still Germany 0, England 0. And let's hope Harry Kane can produce a magic or two, like what he did for Tottenham Hotspur in the last season. He had the highest assist and the highest goal scoring, but he hasn't lived up to expectations for England at the moment. Well, like you said, the only 2 goals he's scored so far has been Raheem Sterling. But as English fans, we don't care. We just want England to score a goal today. It's very important that Harry Kane to raise his game a bit, really. The ball with the Germans. Gozens pass it forward to Havertz on the edge of the penalty area. It goes to Tony Werner. Werner passes one, but it's great interception by the English defenders. And it's a shot from distance from Gozens, and it goes in the hands of Jordan Pickford. It was a bit of a poor shot, but from outside the penalty area, in fact, it was from Goretzka. And it's been all Germany the last minute or so. So the English need to be careful. They need to be careful. We have said that Germany, not at best in this moment in time in general terms. However, the German efficiency, and also considering we're talking about arch rivals here, big rivals, to be watched by all over the world, listened by all over the world, and now Germany on the counter-attack, a mistake by England. Thomas Muller to Havertz in the centre, just inside the English area, pass it to the left-hand side, but in no man's land. And that was lucky for England because England just gave the ball away. And now Trippier with the ball and passing to Kyle Walker. Walker to Saka. Saka surrounded by 2 players, a bit of pressure on Saka, and the ball goes back to Jordan Pickford. Pickford with the ball. They just need to be careful. You can see about 2-3 German players putting pressure on the English defence. And in fact, the ball has gone back to Germany, and it's just a bit of worry for England that the English defenders don't start playing from the back as often, because that can be a bit of a dangerous play by England. We've seen 2-3 players, and I'm sure Kieran and JB will notice that bit later on in the stage. The ball goes back to England and Kyle Walker. I do appreciate if you want to play from the back, but you need to be careful who's actually playing up front for the other team. We've seen Barcelona done that before, and we've seen Paris Saint-Germain play that before. Bayern Munich at some rate, and of course Tottenham with Pochettino, and it works, but it works on reasons and not to make mistakes by your defenders. John Stones, the Man City player, to Declan Rice, he's been phenomenal this tournament, Declan Rice, and I've just called it out wrongly, and he just gave the ball away. And now Havertz to Muller to Goretzka to Toni Kroos. And there's a pressure from England, managed to push Rodiger the ball all the way back to his keeper, Manuel Neuer. Neuer hoofs it forward. towards Cruz, but the ball goes too much to Guzans, and it's a throw into England. I can tell you that Gareth Southgate is not wearing his waistcoat, so it's not really the good omen that English fans were looking for. But let's not believe in omens. Let's believe in our team. Let's believe in our players. And Bukayo Saka, but it could have been a good counter-attack for England, and now counter-attack for Germany. And the ball towards Werner, and he managed to go up between two players, but it's well cleared and well coming forward by the English goalkeeper. Goes all the way to Raheem Sterling, and Raheem Sterling misses the ball, and it goes back to Germany. The German team looks a bit on it more, and now Germany on the attack, and the ball goes forward, and there's been fouled inside the penalty area, and don't know what the referee is looking at. It's going to show a yellow card, and it looks like it's going to be a yellow card. And it's a bit of confusion who the yellow card is for. Is it a penalty or is it a dive? It looks like on the edge, literally on the line by Declan Rice on Goretzka. Let's hope it's actually given the yellow card for the dive, but looking at the replay, it might probably have been given a foul to Germany. In fact, it is a foul for Germany. That is a very dangerous play by Declan Rice. I was just praising him a couple of minutes ago, saying he's been phenomenal in his role. You know, he's got that Didier Deschamps role. And of course, if you disagree with me, please send us your comments and let us know. But it's a dangerous, dangerous free kick, literally not even a meter away from the penalty area, down the centre. And it's a free kick for Germany in the 8th minute. We got a wall of 4, 5 players. Possible 6 now. And of course, we know the capability and the ability of the German players from free kicks, especially Toni Kroos. We've seen him for Munich before, and we've seen him for Madrid. A remarkable player, and the last thing you need is actually to give him the ball in that sort of situations and in that sort of positions. England need to pass this bit of a bother a bit. Havertz is standing behind it. Toni Kroos is standing behind it. Guzan standing behind it. It's a possibility for a left or right-footed player. Free kick. Bit of nerve. Plays short, and Havertz shoots, but it blocked. It was well blocked by the English defence. Still goes back to Ginter from the right-hand side. Get blocked, and it goes to a throw-in to Germany, just near the corner flag on the right-hand side. It was a good block by England. That was a bit dangerous. That was very, very dangerous by the Germans, but it was a good block. I think it was Declan Rice who jumped into the ball. It played short by 2-3 players, the Germans, and it didn't work out this time around, luckily for England. Let's not give the Germans that sort of positions again. The ball to the right-hand side, to Ginter, inside the England half, to Havertz. Havertz with the ball. Of course, the English Premier League fans, and especially Chelsea, know what Havertz can do. The Chelsea player who moved from Bayer Leverkusen for around £60 million. The ball goes forward towards the attacking Kimmich, but defeated by the English defence and Declan Rice. You're back to Luke Shaw, and Shaw clears it forward. So goes back to Germany. Havertz trying to pass on a player, but it was well intercepted, well blocked by Declan Rice, and it cleared by Luke Shaw towards Harry Kane. But again, Ginter was there covering from Harry Kane. 10 minutes gone, and you listen to the commentary hub here with John Kane, and then of course we're going to have JB and Kieran Riley later on at halftime to give us their thoughts on how the first half has gone. And still England 0, Germany 0. Germans with the ball. Hummels, of course, Matt Hummels, who started astray with Dortmund, and he's gone in his peak to Bayern Munich, and has gone back recently to Borussia Dortmund. Another fantastic player. There's been doubt on his ability if he can carry on playing in this high standard with the German team, but he proved so many doubters wrong. His pace might have gone off a bit, but he is there always in the right place at the right time. Havertz, cross it forward to the left-hand side in the edge of the penalty area towards Gozens, but it was too much on Gozens. It goes to a throw-in to England. thrown to England near that corner flag on the right-hand side. Of course, when Germany, and if Germany do go out of the tournament, Joachim Löw will be leaving the post. He'll be leaving the post, and of course, the new managers have been named, the ex-Bayern Munich manager, or the Bayern Munich manager last season. And it's a throw-in for England. Plays towards Trippier. The ball goes to Germany, and there's a throw into England. Throw into England inside their half still. We haven't seen much from England going forward, but we've seen more than once the Germans actually got the ability in causing danger, and this is not something that we want to see. Raheem Sterling with the ball. Raheem just inside the German half. Push it back to Calvin Phillips, to Declan Rice. Rice just inside to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw to Rice. The ball gone back. Like we talk about that pressure from the German forward who's trying to disrupt the England playing from the back a bit. But England, Raheem Sterling on the right, on the Saka, in fact, on the right-hand side, and it was good interception by the Germans. And in fact, he is flagged by the linesman, and he noticed that there is an infringement by Rudiger on Bukayo Saka, the Chelsea man on the Arsenal man, the Chelsea man for Germany and the Arsenal man for England. And there's a foul and a good position for England, but 2-3 meters on the right-hand side of the German penalty area, and a good position for England. And they have got players with a good aerial ability. John Stones, Harry Maguire, Harry Kane, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips. And it's going to be a free kick. Plays from Kieran Trippier inside the penalty area. Heads from Maguire. Cleared by the German defence. And now the ball goes all the way back to Jordan Pickford. That was a bit of a waste of the free kick. Kieran, if you can hear me and if you're with me, just quickly. That wasn't a good free kick for England, wasn't it?
This was absolutely diabolical. The chance was there. Harry obviously, you had Maguire and Kane all in there. But as usual, it turns out to be terrible, as it usually is. Our set pieces aren't the best, but definitely had an easy chance there to go ahead. But obviously, they want to keep fighting for their goal rather than have it come easy. So it's an interesting start, but we'll have to see how we go on. Still a long way to go, though.
Thank you, Kira. We'll come back to you later on and with JB at half-time. And the ball is still with England with nearly 15 minutes gone and it's still 0-0. Now, we know that this game has to end with the winner. And we don't want to be, or we don't want England to be with the likes of France, Holland, Austria, Wales, and Portugal and get knocked out of this tournament. We want England to progress. We want to be this game to be Joachim Löw's last game as a German manager. Saka on the right-hand side, deflected off the German defender, and it goes to a throw-in to England. Throw-in to England on the right-hand side, inside the German half. Kieran Trippier, the Atletico Madrid player, he's another player who left Spurs and managed to get a trophy with Atletico Madrid winning the La Liga. The season just gone. Bukayo Saka, Trippier, push it back to Phillips. Ball with John Stones. Stones inside the German half to Declan Rice. Now Raheem Sterling. Raheem try to take on Bayer. Goes down the centre and a shot from Raheem Sterling. And that's a fantastic save by Manuel Neuer, and it goes to a corner kick for England. Fantastic play by England. Fantastic play by Raheem Sterling. And he did take the Germans by surprise. Fantastic shot to the left-hand side of Manuel Neuer, and it was a fantastic save by the German. Yes, that is what we want to see from England. We need to get and put pressure on Germany as much as we can. So far, we're only just seeing pressure from Germany in the first 10 minutes, and now England are putting the pressure on Germans. There's a free kick on a corner for England. Inside to Harry Maguire, and the head from Harry Maguire towards goal, but it was a bit weak header, easily in the hands of Manuel Neuer. We're starting to put the pressure on England, And the shot from Raheem Sterling is a good omen for England. There's a good start in the first 16 minutes. The ball goes towards Germany. There's an intrusion on the German player, but referee says play on. It goes to Calvin Phillips. And ball goes back to Jordan Pickford, the Everton manager. And of course, Everton are like Spurs, are looking for new managers. The talk of Rafa Benitez and the talk of Nuno Espirito and the talk of I'm not going to go around the Tottenham lineup, the Tottenham candidates that Spurs gone through over the last week, because it'd be embarrassing for Spurs, and it probably will take all the way to half time. So I'm going to leave that bit out. I'm just going to talk about Everton, and obviously they're talking about Rafa Benitez being the new manager at Goodison Park. There's a foul. There's a foul on Calvin Phillips. There's a push by Calvin Phillips. And now the Germans on the attack on the left-hand side. Gosens. Ball goes back to Rudiger. Toni Kroos. Toni Kroos, the Real Madrid general, the ex-Bayern Munich player. So crucial for Germany, so crucial for Madrid. If you watch them, and for Real Madrid, they're very, very good. Now England on the counter-attack, and Raheem Sterling again. And it's 4 against 5. And Raheem Sterling down the centre to Saka. Still down the centre, trying to pass it back to Saka, but it was well intercepted, well covered by the German players. Kroos again to Havertz. Now Germany on the attack. Muller, cross it forward to the left-hand side towards Tony Werner, but it's too much to Werner. Or did Werner was a bit lazy? I think it was Werner being a bit lazy and not trying hard, trying to get that ball from Thomas Muller. We've got so many players here, and it's so hard to predict, especially after watching France going out and Spain struggling and the Dutch going out and Belgium struggling to beat the Portuguese and Italy struggled to beat Austria. And of course, like we said, the Danes were the only ones who gone comfortably in this round. And it's so hard to predict between two arch rivals. And like I said, we want an England win, but let's hope that England can live up to that expectation from their fans. Could this be the year when it comes home? Luke Shaw didn't get the ball rightly to Raheem Sterling, intercepted by the Germans, and the ball goes to Toni Kroos, all the way back to Hummels. Goes to Ginter, the Borussia Mönchengladbach player, who's been brilliant for Mönchengladbach, who had a very good season in Bundesliga. The ball goes forward towards Werner again, but it's too much for Werner. And Carl Walker, who's covering there, back to his goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. Nearly coming into 20 minutes and still 0-0 between England and Germany. We're expecting so much from this game. We're expecting so much. And so far, it has been, I would say, an exciting game. We've seen few chances for both teams. And the ball kept, and both teams are trying to go forward, trying to create something. And so normally in that sort of games, you think the managers or the players will be a bit cautious, but no, so far both teams are going for it. Ball to Trippier, and there's an offside on the England man. There's an offside on Kieran Trippier, and Trippier is playing on the right-hand side again, which is, I know he played a few games for Atletico Madrid on the left-hand side, and he started this tournament against Croatia on the left-hand side, but I must admit, I think seeing Kieran Trippier on the right-hand side, which we normally play for Burnley, Tottenham, and most of the time at Atletico Madrid, is the right side for him. Ball with Havertz, who's playing a bit deep at the moment. To Goretzka. Back to Rudiger. The ball with the Germans. To Kroos. The ball sitting inside the German half and it's intercepted by England. And now England could have gone on the counter-attack here, but Trippier decided to put the ball back. And goes to Declan Rice, and to Raheem Sterling, unmarked, down the centre, surrounded all of a sudden now by 3 players. Ball goes to Declan Rice, back to Walker, to Trippier again on the right-hand side, inside the German half, to Saka. Saka try to take on Kroos, but he's well intercepted by the Germans. And now the Germans on the still on the defence. And ball goes to Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side. And again, intercepted by Germany, by Kimmich, and it goes to a throw into England. throw in to England on the left-hand side. Luke Shaw, the Manchester United defender, who was out of favour and due to injury or not able to sustain his fitness in the first match, managed to do that, and his throw-in to Raheem Sterling could not control the ball in the edge of the penalty area and goes to a goal kick to Germany. Quickly, Kieran, if you listen to us, it's been a good game, really, so far at the moment, but it's very hard to predict still who's actually going to nick it.
Yeah, it's looking at the I'm just looking over the stats now. It's not 50. It is close to 50-50. England with only 48% of possession, with Germany with 52%. But it's definitely still, we're looking 50-50. We've both had 2 shots, and we've had more shots on goal so far. But it's still a very even game. We're still, like I said, still a long way to go. We're only 22 minutes in, but it's still to play for. But we are looking a little bit stronger than we were, but it's seeing if we can convert it now.
Thank you, Kieran. And the attack for England, and it's a free kick for England. Right in the centre of the German half. It was a foul on Bukayo Saka by Goretzka. Goretzka wasn't happy about the referee giving the foul. He thinks that he got the ball first. But there was a bit of an altercation there. And there's a foul for England. And there's a foul. A dangerous position. Luke Shaw standing behind it. I said it could be left-footed or right-footed. Luke Shaw and Kieran Trippier. Luke Shaw cross it inside the penalty area towards Harry Maguire. Heads from Harry Maguire. And it cleared by the German defenders again. It goes to Tony Werner. And now back to Manuel Neuer, dangerously. And it goes forward. It goes back to Saka. Well, it's too much for Saka. And it was too forward by the German player. And it goes inside the English half. Goes all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Kieran got an update for us quickly from Wimbledon. Go ahead, Kieran.
So from the 2 cameras that I've got, we've got Federer Marino playing on centre court currently. It's still 1-set love to Federer, but he's struggling in his second set. He started off very well by going 3 games up, but it's now 5-all as they approach. Hopefully don't go into a tiebreaker in the second set. But Federer struggling with this second one and just getting underway on court 1. We have Struff against Medvedev, which has just got underway, and that is still 0-0 in the sets and 0-0 in the games. But it's 30-15 to Struff as it stands.
Thank you, Kieran. And here it's still 0-0 between England and Germany. And Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side. Pass it to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw trying to go forward. And there was a pull by the German defender. It was a foot pull by Ginter. And there's another foul for England. From a good position on the left-hand side of the penalty area. We've seen fouls by few fouls by Germany in the last 2-3 minutes. And there's going to be yellow card. It's the first yellow card of the game. It's going to be for Matthias Ginter, the centre-back for Germany in today's game. Christian Ginter, the Borussia Mönchengladbach player. I mentioned he actually he had a very good, decent season with Bundesliga. And thank you, Kieran. He just informed me that he'll be missing the next game if German do progress to the next round, of course, who progress. And if this game will play the winners of Sweden and Ukraine, and it's not going to be an easy game. Of course, that's a game that's going to be with Russ Vernon later on after this game. There's a free kick. And again, Trippier this time takes it inside the 6-yard area and heads it away by Matt Hummels. And it goes to a corner to England. There's another corner for England. It was a good cross by Kieran Trippier. And in fact, it was Kimmich, I do believe. It was Kimmich who actually heads it away, and it goes to a corner for England from the right-hand side. We start to see England put in the pressure again, and it's been England over the last probably 10 minutes or so, which is unlike the first 10 minutes where Jones were the better side. Corner for England, Kieran Trippier. Cross it inside 6-yard area, cleared by Germany. Goes back to Calvin Phillips. Phillips Cross it forward. Beautiful ball to Kieran Trippier. Trippier cross it from the right-hand side. And a head from the Harry Maguire. But the header from Harry Maguire goes over the bar. That is a chance. That was a very good chance. And I don't think it was much, really, trouble for Harry Maguire. He should have done more, hadn't he, Kieran?
Yeah, he should. He definitely should have. I'm just watching the replay of it now as it comes across. On the instead of knocking it sideways, so I did now. I'll just hit it forward instead. He's obviously not thought about where he's going to place that. I'm going to guess he was aiming for the top corner, but just couldn't get it square on his head properly. It looks like it more hit him on the centre, so he decided to go. Oh, I'll go forward instead of sideways. But definitely a better chance now. We'll cut back to you with Sterling's on the case.
Kieran Sterling on the left-hand side, trying to pass on the player. Good to Bahamas. Go back to Luke Shaw. Try to cross it, but it's a weak cross by Luke Shaw. Now the Germans with the ball. Goritza. We haven't seen the Germans going forward in the last probably 5-10 minutes or so. So it's a good thing, good progress by England to stop the Germans from going forward. It means, from my prediction, Declan Rice and Phillips are doing their job in that midfield. They've been very solid throughout. They haven't conceded a goal so far. England scored 2 goals through Raheem Sterling. And, of course, we don't want to see England lose the shine of keeping a clean sheet so far. Ball from Kyle Walker forward towards Rudiger. They couldn't control the ball, but he had covered by the German defenders. Hummels. And the ball goes forward towards Havertz, but it was a good cover by John Stones. That was a good interception by the Manchester City defender. Goes to Luke Shaw, still inside the English half. Pass it backwards to Harry Maguire. Pressure on Harry Maguire by Kai Havertz. And there's a foul on Havertz. If he was given a foul, it looks a foul to me. It was a push by Havertz on Harry Maguire, and it was actually a throw-in. Kieran, it looks a bit odd, isn't it? And it's a bit dodgy decision here.
He's definitely dragged to the ground, but it's gone down as a free. It's obviously gone down as a free kick. He was definitely a little bit of a tussle for the ball there, but Maguire's definitely gone to ground. So it's that's a tough one to call, but I'm happy. I'm happy with that free kick there.
Absolutely, England get the free kick. And we are playing in the 29th minute, and nearly half an hour gone, and it's still England 0, Johnny 0. You're listening to John Kane, and of course with me, Kieran Riley. And at halftime, we'll have JB to analyse the first half with Kieran. And you're listening to the Commentary Hub here on Twitter and our Facebook page. And the ball goes forward from Saka towards Harry Kane, but it didn't get for Harry Kane. Harry Kane is not in the game again. It's a bit worrying for someone of that sort of calibre, who what he's shown he can do with England and with Spurs, and yet we haven't seen him in this tournament. The top scorer of the World Cup 3 years ago, the ball with Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side of the German penalty area. Raheem trying to take on 2 players, trying to cross it inside the 6-yard area, cleared by the German defence, and it goes to Declan Rice, but the head from Declan Rice goes all the way to the Manuel Neuer. Neuer cross it forward to Kimmich, and there's a foul on Luke Shaw, and it's a foul for Germany. Half an hour gone. Kieran, we haven't seen Harry Kane yet. It's a bit of a worry when we know that what Harry Kane can do for England, what he'd done for England in the World Cup. 6 goals, the top goal scorer, what he'd come into breaking the England top highest goal scorers, Wayne Rooney's, of course, record, and what he'd done with Spurs last season, the top goal scorer and a top asset in the Premier League. Yeah, we haven't seen anything of him, not even a good pass in this tournament.
Yeah, it's certainly odd that he's gone from... But he dropped off at the end of the season as well, didn't he? So it's weird to see how good someone can be, like going and earn the Golden Boot, being like the best player in the Premier League, to come and play for your country and be this, insert word here.
Sorry, Kieran, I'll come back in a minute. The ball with Germany, Havertz to the right-hand side. Kimmich on the edge. Cross it inside the 6-yard area, but it misses 2 German players and 3 English players, and it goes to a goal kick to England. That was dangerous. That was very, very dangerous from the Germans. It was a good ball from Havertz. Pass it on to Kimmich on the right-hand side. There was a good flick inside the 6-yard area, and it missed 2 German players, and even the English players missed it, Kieran. That is very dangerous, wasn't it?
That just goes to show how dangerous Germany can be. I mean, you look at the last 10 minutes. They've sat back as we've tried to push forward. And then as soon as they get a breakaway, they're in. I think that's going to be our biggest letdown as they're coming in again.
And Havertz again, pass it forward to Werner. Werner shoots from just outside the 6-yard area. It's a good block and a good save by Jordan Pickford. That's 2 chances for Germany in less than a minute. The danger bells start ringing for England. There is something wrong again with the German defense, with the English defense, I do beg your pardon. And Kieran, this is not good enough in the last 2 minutes. We need to see more, don't we, from England?
Oh, God, yeah. We need to see a lot more. I mean, like I was saying before, we had to cut back. It's Germany are really, really defensively strong. And as soon as they get the ball forward, they are attackingly dangerous. It's one of them ones. They'll sit back and thinking, and England will think, yeah, we've got a chance here. And all of a sudden, bang, like that. Within the space of 2 minutes, they've had 2 decent, really, really decent efforts. It's definitely worrying. And if this goes to extra time and Germany do that and we falter, that's game over.
Thank you, Kieran. I completely agree. I can't really see on what I've seen what the Germans can do, especially on the counter-attack, that the English can last the 90 minutes without conceding. And if that's got extra time, well, they have the capability of actually carrying on. The ball goes forward towards Harry Kane from Calvin Phillips. That was a good cross from Calvin. But again, Harry Kane, is he doing anything off the ball, Kieran? Harry Kane? Because as a leader, you expect to see more from him on the pitch, but is he actually doing anything off the ball?
I don't know. I mean, he could have gone, like then he could have just gone for that, but he said, no, I'll have a little trot. I'll have a little trot down the pitch. It's almost like he's like, oh, I've got the captain's arm. I'm going to sit back and do nothing. He needs to start going in for these balls. I mean, he's just trotting along the pitch. I mean, he could have easily gone for that, and then Sterling could have jumped up forwards, but it's one of them ones. He's really not performing. I think we need to see better of Harry Kane. I don't know how he's still been playing. I honestly don't know how he's still playing.
A ball goes forward. There's another dangerous attack on Kimmich on the right-hand side. And this time it's well intercepted by the English defender, and it goes to a throw. And that's another dangerous attack for Germany. The Germans are actually starting to find the holes in that English defence. And maybe it was a bit offside, but that's not the point. The point is the German attackers, they started to see the holes in that English defence, and that is not good enough for England. Offside or no offside, we need to see more from England defensively. Have Germans found the weakest link? And who is the weakest link? I'm sure Kieran and JB will speak at half-time, and they analyse the first half. Who was the weakest link? Quickly, Kieran, give me one name. Who's the weakest link in that attack by Germans?
Who's the weakest link in the Germany attack at the minute?
In English defence.
English defence. Well, it's obviously Harry Maguire. He's there, but he's supposed to be playing in central defence, and he seems to be playing more on the right hand side. And it's just he's giving him the space in the middle. It looks like I think that's John Stones that is moving more into the central defensive role, which is odd when Maguire's your central defender. So it's odd to see what's going on in this back line. It is definitely odd.
Thank you, Kieran. Of course, Kieran is with us throughout the half when needed. I do appreciate his presence for the duration of the game, being co-commentary, shall we say. And, of course, he'll be analysing the first half with JB, so don't go away at half-time. And the ball in the back, and England start playing from the back again. And now it's Maguire going forward, just inside the German half, and loses the ball again. But at least it goes to throw into England. We've seen, we were expecting a lot from Harry Kane, as we said before the tournament. We were expecting a lot from Raheem Sterling. I know Sterling scored 2 goals, but it hasn't been the performance that we expected from him. we weren't expecting anything from Kai Havertz. I have to put my hands up, and I thought he's going to be one of them players who won't even be playing. Yet he's scoring goals, and he's been very productive for the Germans. Now, the ball was Raheem Sterling, surrounded by 4 players, back to Harry Kane. It goes to Declan Rice, down the centre. Rice passes to the right-hand side of the penalty area to Kieran Trippier. Can England find a goal before half-time? Walker was thinking of the cross, pass it again to Trippier, and it goes to Rice on the edge of the penalty area, but it cleared by Germany, and it goes forward, and it goes to Kieran Trippier. It goes to Calvin Phillips. Trippier chips it forward to Saka on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Saka, 1-2, goes to Phillips. Phillips on the right-hand side, just inside the penalty area, tried to cross it, but that was lazy by Calvin Phillips. It was lazy, wasn't it, Kieran?
Yeah, it's definitely lazy. Obviously, Germany are definitely holding us up in that corner. They've got to try and find a way through, and it's just not working at the minute.
And that's now again, Kieran. That's another lazy ball by Calvin Phillips, and now German on the counter attack because of that. Havertz with the ball on the left hand side, but it was a good cover by the English players, and it goes to throw in. We've got 7 minutes left, still 0-0. And we've seen a few lazy English players, haven't we, so far in the first half, Kieran?
Yeah, it's definitely more of I've come back. I'll chillax in his first half. We'll see what happens in the second half. It's not the type of football we need to play. Gareth Southgate needs to think of this logically now. He's played the whole tournament. He's played defensive football, and defensive football is not something we should be playing. We should be playing attacking football. That's why I'm saying get the likes of have a back 5 and get the likes of Cody sat in the middle, commanding that back line and actually pushing your wing backs forward to try and get those goals in. But it's I don't know what's going through Southgate's mind at the moment. It's one of them ones where we've got to sit and pray.
No, absolutely. I mean, from England perspective, and you're talking about Gareth Southgate, like he's playing in the defensive the game. But really, if you're playing a defensive game, you shouldn't be letting Germany have as many attacks in the last 5 minutes, shouldn't you, Kieran?
No, definitely not. Even
so, that's not working really, as far as Southgate is concerned.
Well, it seemed to work in the group stage, sort of, keeping a clean sheet. But I'm going to cut back to you quick.
And Havertz with the ball and trying to go take on Kyle Walker, but it was I don't know if it was luck this time round, or did Kyle Walker manage to get the ball ahead of Havertz? But either way, it was a good interception, and for England's sake, it did go back to Jordan Pickford. It's not good enough by England at the moment, isn't it? In the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, Germany have definitely dropped back on the attack. And I was going to say, England took possession a little bit more then, but the stats have instantly changed, and Germany's definitely had a lot more possession. It's this defensive football, it's working, but it's not working. I mean, look at those chances they've just had there, straight through, but luckily the defence was there. But it's definitely stressful to watch this game, I must say so. It's like Scotland all over again.
Absolutely. It's just not going to, of course, see the difference between the game here and the last 3 games. England have to win. Or we need a winner, England or Germany. So could go to extra time. It could go to penalties. The ball forward from Kimmich towards Havertz. And Havertz trying to control the ball, but it's a good interception by John Stones. I must admit, I can't fault John Stones at the moment. I'm a bit cautious about Harry Maguire playing in that back 3. But I think John Stones so far has been the solid defender, whatever he had to come forward and deal with the German attacks. But of course, I'll leave that analysis to Kieran and JB at halftime. We've got 5 minutes to go, and the ball towards Calvin Phillips, who's going forward, but it's too much for Calvin, all the way back to the German keeper. 5 minutes to go. Still England 0, Germany 0. We need a winner tonight. We're playing at Wembley, and this is the best place for England to win it. From all places, it could have been played anywhere. This tournament had so many places. It had Munich, it had Baku, it had Amsterdam, it had Copenhagen. And England should be lucky they are playing at Wembley against Germany at this stage. Of course, we have got the semi-finals and the finals at Wembley. But let's talk about today's game, because we want to see England go through Germany first before we start even think about who we're going to play. If it was going to be Sweden and Ukraine, of course, that game will be coming up live with the commentary hub with Ross Vernon after the completion of this game. We're waiting for breakthrough. It's been an exciting game. We've seen attacks and we've seen a few chances for both teams, mainly for Germany, to be honest. But any team, especially if the Germans do nick a goal before half-time, it's going to be a big, big problem for England, because going forward, Harry Kane is missing. The German players up front, not all of them, are actually doing something. Thomas Muller's doing something. Havertz, even Werner, we've seen him having that chance with Jordan Pickford one-on-one. He didn't score, but at the end of the day, he still showed, and he still told the German English defenders that I am there. I am there, Jordan Pickford. I am there to do something, and he was. And Calvin Phillips playing with danger there, but luckily he managed to keep the ball and the ball with England. But let's hope England can put a bit of pressure in the last few minutes of the just before half time. Now Harry Kane going forward, going down the centre, goes one, goes two, goes down, and it's a free kick for England from a dangerous position. That's probably the best we've seen of Harry Kane throughout the whole tournament. Not even this half, isn't it, Kieran?
Oh, God, yeah. It's fine. It's actually nice for him to actually touch the ball for once. But he gets two touches, he goes straight down. But that's a lovely little challenge. It looked like he dived a little bit there, but definitely saw the contact there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this free kick. But it's good to see Harry Kane actually doing something for a change, rather than just trotting about the pitch like he's a ghost, like there's no one home. Someone's finally knocked on the door and gone, hello.
Absolutely. It's a dangerous free kick. 3 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. And Luke Shaw, Kieran Trippier standing behind it and more towards the left-hand side. So it's probably more better for Kieran Trippier to go for it. We've seen Kieran Trippier scoring for England. I can't remember against who, so I'm sure Kieran will provide me with the name of the country that Kieran Trippier scored against. But let's wait and see if he scores again. And England with a dangerous free kick. Can England go ahead before half-time? Trippier plays it short towards Harry Kane inside the 6-yard area, but right in front of him it was Hummels who clears it in front from ahead of Harry Kane. It goes to a corner. It was the idea. It was the right idea. It's a good chip from Trippier towards Harry Kane, but Matt Hummels done his job perfectly. We did say that he loses space a bit, Matt Hummels, coming to this tournament, but he's always in the right place at the right time for Germany. And it's a corner on the left-hand side for England. Trippier, the Atletico Madrid man, cross it inside the 6-yard area, cleared by the German defenders again. And it goes all the way to Gosens, and Gosens clears it forward. And Germany trying to go on a counter-attack, but Calvin Phillips just on the right down the centre, and a pass all the way back to Pickford. Ball for England. Pickford hooves it forward to the right-hand side. Phillips again. And the referee says play on. There was a foul on Phillips from Kai Havertz. And the ball goes forward towards Bukayo Saka. Saka couldn't control the ball, and it's a throw-in for Germany. A minute to go. A minute to go till half-time plus stoppage time, which I'm not expecting much. There hasn't been much injuries. So it's probably going to be, my prediction, probably be a minute maximum, if any. It's been a good entertaining game, isn't it, Kieran, in the first half? We've seen chances both sides, but we've seen mistakes as well, especially by England.
Yeah, it's definitely been that's goes down there.
Sorry, Kieran. I'm back to you in a minute. It's been a late challenge by the England player on the German, and it's going to be another yellow card. It's going to be another yellow card. I can't see who's the player. I'm just having a look at the replay. It was Calvin Phillips. That was a very dangerous play. It was right on the foot of Toni Kroos. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if I looked at it again and see it and probably give him a red card, isn't it, Kieran?
Definitely, but by the looks of it, VAR's not having a look. They've confirmed it as a yellow card. Obviously, they're happy with that, which, to be honest, I'm loving VAR in the Euros. It might give the Premier League something to look at, but we will. That's a thing for another day. It's definitely been an interesting first half. It's been end to end. Not really seen much out of England, really. We've seen no few chances, but obviously they've not gone our way and have been absolutely terrible. So I'm hoping we come out in the second half a lot better. And you were right with your prediction. 1 minute added on.
Indeed, we are inside the first minute of injury time. It was only 1 minute. There wasn't that much injury or delays, to be honest. It's been a flowing game so far, and it's been entertaining, especially, I'm sure, for the neutrals. They would have enjoyed that. However, I think from the English perspective, probably would have been a bit of a nervy game. We did have our chances. England did have our chances, But that's a mistake. That's a mistake by the reliable Muller. Now, Raheem Sterling. Can they score before halftime? Down the centre. Raheem Sterling to Harry Kane. Harry Kane, this is our 6 yards. Oh, what a chance for England. And the English players, could that have a penalty? Was that a late foul on Harry Kane inside the 6 yard? I don't know, but Harry Kane normally would have scored from there, but it was a great interception. That would have been the chance for England. What have you done, Harry Kane? That was a chance. And now Germany were playing outside the minute, and the referee blows his whistle for half-time with that great chance by England. It was a bad mistake by Thomas Muller, literally seconds away from the end of the stoppage time. Pass it backwards, intercepted by Raheem Sterling, gone forward. There was a mess up inside the German half, German penalty area. Ball goes to Harry Kane. It was Kane with Manuel Neuer trying to overtake Manuel Neuer, but it was too much on Manuel Neuer, on Harry Kane, and then get cleared. And it goes, and it goes. What a chance. That is a chance that England, I hope, would not regret. We've seen Harry Kane. We want to see Harry Kane. We did see Harry Kane, but it was not the chance that he missed. We would have wanted him to be scoring from there. We've seen him score from there and from everywhere, Harry Kane, but not in this position. He hasn't today, or indeed throughout the whole tournament. We're waiting for JB to come and join us at halftime. And in fact, we have got JB. I'll pass to him in a minute. And of course, back with us, Kieran. Good afternoon, JB, again. It was a very interesting game to watch, hasn't it? And I'll leave you with your analysis. But quickly, it was a bit of a heart attack, wasn't it? Once or twice for the English fans with a few mistakes, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Thank you, John Kane. We'll look forward to hearing your brilliant commentary in the second half. John Kane there, our commentator. And I've got to say, Harry Kane, I've just seen the replay. We're just a couple of seconds behind on the feed there, and that's an opportunity that Harry Kane, 99 times out of 100, would take in the normal circumstances for Tottenham. But England really need to up their game, as the boy said at half, just before the break. There, it has been a tough old thing. I'm just looking at a replay as the Sterling made a terrific run here. I'm just looking at it again. I mean, it comes to him rather quickly, but you'd have thought that. I think it's his first touch that takes it away. If he gets a better contact, then England are ahead. But that is the best chance without a doubt. Pickford's made a good save as well. Also, Sterling was brilliantly denied by the brilliant evergreen Manuel Neuer. But it's England 0, Germany 0. And I should point out as well, I didn't at the start, so I do apologise, that we will stay with you till the conclusion of this game, through 90 minutes, extra time, or even possibly, I dare not say it, penalties. I hope it doesn't come to that tonight. I don't know how much more heart-stopping action we could take after what we saw yesterday, 13 goals and a penalty shootout. But at the moment, no goals here. And let's bring Kieran Riley in. Let's have a look at your assessment of the first half. Well, what do you reckon?
Well, from the replays that I saw, both were two. From the penalty, just going back to those penalty chances, there were definitely two good fouls. Kane was tripped up after they got the ball, so both of them were definitely two good fouls. They definitely weren't penalties in my eyes, but some England fans may shoot me for that because they're saying, "Oh, what a penalty!" But it's been an interesting first half. Just going to have a quick look at the stats. We'll look at the stats. They've had equal shots. They've had 3 shots each. We've both had 2 shots on target as well. England with the most possession at the moment. It's currently 53% possession to us, but 47%. But that means nothing. You could have 10% possession a whole game and win 5-0. It's one of them ones. Obviously, we've had 2 yellow cards. Luckily, no one sent off yet. But obviously, unfortunate yellow card for Ginter means he's going to miss the quarter-final game if Germany progress. And if it goes to penalties, it probably would be the case that Germany do go through with our track record of penalties against Germany. Moving on. But it's definitely been an interesting first half, end to end. I'm not impressed, but I'm not angry at the same time. We've had some good chances. Harry Kane should have tapped that with 1 foot rather than thinking, "Oh, I'll control this." He should have tried the one-shot wonder, but he decided, "Oh, I'll take a control and try and tap it in." But it didn't come to shine. It's definitely another stressful England game. It's Scotland all over again. But
Well, I think we're playing a bit better than we did against the Scots, if I'm being perfectly honest. Russ Vernon is on, and we'll bring him in. Hello, Russ.
Hi, JB.
Well,
Hi, Kieran. Hi, John Kane.
well, let's get your assessment on the Kane chance right at the end. What did you think? It was a big chance, wasn't it?
It was a big chance. Initially, I thought it was a penalty for England, but looking at the replay,
Yeah,
almost robbed the ball first, and
he
that
did.
was spot on. And for me, for the Phillips one, where Phillips got booked, I'm on about now.
Go on, yeah.
I've seen a lot of those challenges in the tournament so far, and they've not been penalised for yellow cards.
That's
and
a very good point you make there.
And Phillips actually won the ball. And where's he supposed to go? He played the ball, and when he plays the ball, his foot's going to go in that direction where he went. So I think he was very unfortunate to get a booking there, Karen Phillips, when certain players, even I think if you recall in the last game for Germany, I recall Tony Cruz doing a similar challenge to what Phillips did, where Phillips got booked for and Cruz didn't even get a booking.
Absolutely. Let's just switch off on the game before we talk a bit what might happen in the second half, because I think if we go back to you, Kieran, I think you've got a Wimbledon update for us, haven't you?
Yeah, play is getting back underway now on courts 2, 4, 5 and 6, where after a massive rain, in fact, they're getting underway on all courts now after a massive rain delay. But the current games that are in progress, Federer is struggling in the third set. He is now 2 games down after Mano Marino took him to a second set tiebreak. He's currently 2 games to love in the third set against Manaro. Over on court number 1, we've got Struff against Medvedev, and that is currently 4 games to 2 in the second set, with Struff getting the advantage for the game, possibly making it 4-3 in the first set. We'll have to wait and see. But the games are getting back underway on the rest of the courts after a very long rain delay. But I'll bring you updates from that as we get them.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to bring John Kane in. So Federer there struggling in the tennis there at All England Club. I'm going to bring John Kane in for his assessment, our match commentator. Well, you've been in a great position of commentating on this game. As far as you're concerned, assessment on the England performance?
It's a very, very dangerous game, isn't it? Sometimes they've been playing. Some of the players been a bit lazy at stages. We've seen Calvin Phillips giving the wall away. We've seen few players not really controlling that midfield as much as we wanted to be. I know Declan Rice, I praised Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips prior to this game, but they're not really doing much. And as for Harry Kane, I mean, I'm surprised that he actually had that chance in the end. And being a Spurs fan and seeing what he'd done in the not just last season, but mainly last season, but over the years, he's been fantastic. However, I still think that Harry Kane needs to play a bit deeper and let someone like what he had at Spurs with Son, as Raheem Sterling, and let him go with him or ahead of him to able to get him more involved in the game. But even then, Kane is really, really struggling, JB.
Absolutely. And do you think he should have got, I mean, obviously we've been talking about should Kane have hit it first time, that chance at the end. Do you think his touch was a little bit heavy? Well, I mean, looked at the replay, I think he takes a too heavy a touch. If he gets a better contact maybe on the first touch, does he bang it in on the second touch?
I think he actually didn't know what to do, I'll be honest with you. And I think the big problem with Harry Kane at the moment is he's not decisive as much, even as we've seen in the last kick of the game. I think he's thinking of where I'm going to be next. I honestly think all this stuff about Spurs not having a manager, that's a completely different issue. But Harry Kane, we know that Man City bid is being rejected, and obviously it seems like he wants to go to Man City and play with De Bruyne and the rest. But honestly, I don't think his head is all with England at the moment. And if that's the case, even as an England captain, I think he should be withdrawn from the game. Because if you can't provide and help against, like I said, we can have the worst German team, but the Germans are always efficient, even with the worst team. And if you can't go up to their level, well, you need to be substituted, sadly.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point. I'm gonna give the same question. I'm gonna pass the point on. I'm gonna go to Russ first, and then Kieran. you think Kane should be substituted at half-time? But it looks as if the whole Manchester City business, Ross, is really affecting him so far, isn't it? I mean, that's why he hasn't had a good enough tournament for me. Do you think, I mean, honestly, I think John Kane is right in what he says there. I think the whole Man City business has affected him. And I think he needs, do you think he needs to be withdrawn from the captaincy, perhaps? I don't like to say that, but...
Not from the captaincy. I think he's a good captain, but I think he shouldn't have started this game. I would have probably given, actually looking at the starting lineup, I would probably have chosen, say, Kyle Walker as captain, because he's the next experienced head in there. And I would have probably not played him in this game if he's ended up being there. But who would you have put through the middle that we've got in the squad today? Because
Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
Rashford is our wide. He's a wide man now for Manchester United. Calvert-Lewin's not in the squad today. So, who would you... So, with the players that we've got on the bench, Rashford's a wide man. Foden has played through the middle a few times for Manchester City, but he's mainly a wide man. Really, he's more of a wide man. Only one you could really play there, yes, he's more of a wide man, but only one you could really play there is put Sterling through the middle and put someone like Grealish, Rashford, Foden out on that side. And I've got a question which I'll go to Kieran on this one. And a lot of the times, Kieran, when we watch Manchester City play, we see Kyle Walker bombing forward down that right-hand side for Manchester City. Why do you think he's reluctant to get forward? Because there's been a lot of times in that first half where there's space that's opened up for him to get forward, but he's not really done that. And also, he's not really finding Trippier much. He's always seemed to go back to Maguire and Stones instead of looking for that forward pass. Why do you think that is, Kieran?
To be honest with you, mate, I think it's something that maybe was discussed pre-match. Maybe Kane's telling him to hold back or Maguire's telling him to hold back. I honestly don't know. So we're seeing more of John Stones and Maguire pushing forward, and Walker just seems to be holding back. I don't know why that is. It's definitely, if anything, it's a tactical thing. But as you say, he's constantly flying down the wing for Man City. So it's an odd one to see why he's not going up. It could be literally he's been told not to move. He's been told to hold his defensive position. But if I was Walker, I'd be like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to run down the wing and pop one in, see if we get a goal. But it's definitely it's a weird one. We've definitely been playing some weird football compared to the friendlies. It's definitely I don't know how you guys feel about this, but we've definitely come into the Euros in a different mindset than we have done in previous friendly games.
Well, I'm just gonna say this. We need to play. All I'll say to this, guys, is this: we need to play better second half. There's no two ways about it because we've looked defensively sound. But just a brief word before I hand back to John Kane, because we only got about a couple of minutes. And plus, I want to just before I do ask that question, just to remind you, after this game, Russ Vernon will be back with you. In fact, doing the Sweden-Ukraine match, and the winners of that game play the winners of this game. So final word to you guys, just quickly for 30 seconds each. Russ, I'll start with you. What do you expect from England second half?
I think we'll get the win, JB, and I think it's more like the Croatia game, that first match of the Euros, and because we've not seen Cruz or Goretzka get on much, I think England's going to win it, and I think it's going to be a 1-0 win for England. Right,
Kieran, 30 seconds from you. What do you think is going to happen?
It's going to be one of those cheeky... I don't know. It could be, like I said, it's scrappy at the minute. Like I said at the start, it could be a scrappy victory to us. I'm not going to try and say a score. I don't know. I don't know where I see this game going. I reckon we could possibly be going, hate to say it, but I think we could possibly go into penalties here. But once again, it's England. They'll usually draw up some miracle, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But definitely going to be one of them ones.
Thank you very much indeed. We'll hear from both of you again at full time. All that remains to me to say, England, come on. Get your fingers out. Harry Kane especially. Get your fingers out. This next 45 minutes could be critical. Critical. You have a chance, guys, to make history. Absolute history. What an opportunity you've got here. Do not blow it. 45 minutes remain here at Wembley Stadium as we await the teams to come out. But I've just got to say this. England, I hope, Southgate, you've rallied the troops. You've got everybody behind you. Everybody that's listening, get behind, get messaging. Who do you think is going to win this second half? Can England do it? The teams are just about to be on their way out in a few seconds from now. So let's rejoin our commentator well in time for the second half. Can John Kane call home an England victory? JK, it's all yours. Let's call an England victory. JK.
Thank you, JB. Thank you, guys, Kieran and Russ, for great analysis of the game. And yes, I'm hoping that Gareth Southgate would have said something to the players at half-time to make them do something. And of course, I mean, let's not forget that in the first half, our main two men in that midfield, Rice and Phillips, they're both on a yellow. So it's very, very dangerous on England now if they're going to start playing that defensive wall again. And then we'll end up stopping the Germans. We get a red card. That is going to be a disaster for England as the way it's going at the moment. So we'll wait for the second half to start. England will play from left to right and Germany from right to left. And in fact, the whistle has been blown and the second half is on the way. Harry Maguire with the ball, just down the centre. Pass it forward to Phillips. Can England reshape? Can England have different kind of mentality in the second half than it was in the first? Can England cruise through to the next round and play the winners of Sweden and Ukraine? It's very, very dangerous game they played in the first half. There have been chances. There have been good German chances, but probably the best chance of them all, I'll say, it was Harry Kane's chance, one-on-one. And Harry Kane, when you'd always expect him to be scoring from any position, let alone just one-on-one inside the 6 yard, couldn't control the ball. And as I spoke to JB and Kieran and the boys earlier, at half-time, I think, from a Spurs point of view, I think that Man City move is affecting him a bit this tournament. I'll come back to Kieran in a second. Kieran, just quickly, Harry Kane is really not with it this tournament. And I think, personally, and this is coming from a Spurs fan, I think Harry Kane is actually more concerned about where he's going to play next season.
Yeah, he's definitely... I don't know what's going to happen. I hope he stays at Spurs, to be fair, because he's built a good career up there. But it's one of them ones where if you want to play this tournament, you play, especially if you want a new contract, you play for a new contract. You don't just sit back like he's been doing. Maybe he's getting a bit lazy. I don't know what's going through Harry Kane's mind at the minute, but I'm hoping he tries and shines through in this second half, and we get a decent half out of him. But it's not been happening so far.
Thank you, Kieran. We'll come back to you shortly. We'll go through the lineups again for England. Pickford in goal, Stones, Maguire, Walker in defence. In that midfield, Luke Shaw, Rice, Phillips and Trippier. Harry Kane up front, and just behind Harry Kane is Raheem Sterling and Bukayo Saka. The Germans on the attack on the right-hand side with Havertz, and been push and pull between him and Luke Shaw. And with the Germans, Neuer in goal, Ginter, Hummels, and Rudiger in defence. In midfield, Kimmich, Grosicka, Kroos and Gosens. Werner front, and just behind Werner is Havertz and Muller. We expected a lot from Harry Kane this tournament, and I personally did not expect anything from Havertz, but Havertz has been phenomenal this tournament, I have to say. With all that, people say he was a fluke for Chelsea. He probably was a bit to start with. And now Germans on the attack. And Kroos inside the penalty area. And trying to pass it to Gosens on the left-hand side. Trying to cross inside the English penalty area. And a shot from Havertz. And it's a fantastic save by Jordan Pickford. What a game. What a move by Germany. What a shot by Havertz from outside the penalty area. A powerful shot on the edge. And it's a great save by Jordan Pickford. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see shots given to Havertz like that. We don't want to see goals for Germany. But I'll tell you what, the Germans are on form this game. And this was very, very dangerous. It's a corner for Germany. Plays inside the 6 yard area. And intercepted by the English players. And Trippier hoofs it out. And what a chance for Germany. Kieran, That was terrible from England, letting someone like Havertz, that I was just mentioning just beforehand, how good he is this tournament, regardless comparing to what he was with Chelsea in the first half of the season. And his shot was brilliant, but Brentford's save was brilliant, but he should not have been given the chance to shoot from there.
No, I don't know whether you could see me, but I'm not currently sat down because I've just been lying on the floor with how close that shot was. That's definitely dangerous. Germany are definitely looking vicious this second half. It's stupid defence again, giving them too much space and then letting them through a goal like that. It's definitely, oh my God, it's stressful watching England play. I don't know how I've still got a full head of hair after watching England play today. Oh, it's going to be a tough second half by the looks of it. We're only 5 minutes in. Germany are already definitely looking the stronger team for this second half.
Thank you, Kieran. We'll come back to you shortly. Indeed, it has been 5 minutes gone in the second half. Still England 0, Germany 0. Well, it looks like the second half is same again from the Germans. They are controlling the game in general terms. It hasn't been a good start for England. And yes, it's still 0-0, but Havertz's shot was brilliant shot. And I tell you what, it needed all the flexes from Jordan Pickford to save that ball. And see in the replay twice and how good that shot was and how good Havertz been this tournament. And I've always been critical of the player. I've been critical of the player, especially in the first half of the season for playing for Chelsea. But this tournament, he has scored goals and he's always been involved with the players. And now forward for England to Kyle Walker. It was a bit good idea from Kieran Trippier going forward to Kyle Walker, but it was too much of Walker, and the Chelsea defender Rudiger cleared it for a throw-in for England on the right-hand side. There's a throw-in for England, Kyle Walker. And there's a few celebrities there. I don't remember his name, but I'm sure someone would know, one of the younger generations. And free throw-in for Kyle Walker. It looks like he's going to go for the long throw. Kyle Walker. We need everything now. Forward. And that was a very, very poor throw. Either his throw was heading to no one, or all the English players just weren't interested with the ball. Anyway, the ball was Rice to Saka on the left-hand side, to Sterling, in fact. Sterling trying to pass on one. He managed to take on one player just on the edge of the penalty area. On the left-hand side, inside the penalty area. Surrounded by 2-3 players, trying to pass to Harry Kane, but the Germans again, the German machine in the back, they're doing their job. But again, goes back to England. Defensively, I'll say the Germans are on top. I think Rudiger, Ginter and Hummels have doing their job very, very well so far for Germany. The ball would look short, the left-hand side, inside the German half. Harry Kane, pass it forward towards Raheem Sterling. The good move, good ball forward, but it was a bit too much for Raheem, and it was good cover by Ginter, the German defender. It's been very, very entertaining game, especially if you're a neutral. It's been very entertaining. If you're a German, you're hopeful. If you're English, I don't know. Give me a word, Kieran. If you're English, you're not hopeful at the moment, are you?
Stressed.
Absolutely. I think that is the best word to describe the English fans. Stressed. And we don't want to see that. We want to see the England that won 5-1 in Munich. We want to see England who actually give it all in the game. And at the moment, we've seen some lazy balls. And we thought at half-time, Gareth Southgate might have said something to his players. And whatever he said made no difference at all in the first 7 minutes of the second half. And we want England to do more. As English fans, we want to do more. But we'll be mutual, of course. And we'll say the Germans are the better team. The Germans, with their efficiency, it looks like a very good German side all of a sudden, isn't it? Havertz on the right-hand side. Try to take on Declan Rice. Now, Rice and Phillips need to be careful. Both on a yellow. Ball with Goretzka to Kroos. It's been brilliant, Kroos, in this game. He's been everywhere, that man. Kimmich. Cross it inside the 6-yard area. And it was the header from defender, and still clear by England. Even the clearance, it looks dangerous by England at the moment. And there's a player down from England, and Germany is still playing and still playing forward. And the ball goes to Muller, Havertz to Kimmich. Kimmich on the right-hand side, back to Havertz on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Try to take on Sterling and trying to cross, but Sterling, good defending from Sterling. He's retrieving Sterling. And Harry Kane is still down and doesn't look good. And is that a good omen? Maybe we don't wish anyone any bad health, and we want him to carry on. But what we've seen of Kane, maybe a substitution is required.
Yep, let's get him off. That's all I'm going to say now. He's gone down. It looked like he got hit in the face, but he's now did his knee instead. I think it's time for him to come off now. Let's get some fresh set of legs on. Let's try and push. Try and push for a goal here. It's certainly worrying times at the minute. 54 minutes in now and still goalless. It's definitely a stressful time to be an England fan, especially in a tournament like this and with the history that could be made today.
Well, Harry Kane. Harry Kane is still on the ground and being treated, and it doesn't look good at the moment. Of course, we have seen Rashford warming up, and will be the obvious substitution if Harry Kane to leave the game. But at the moment, Harry Kane is not being substituted until over. It's only over till it's over. And if Harry Kane needs to stay on, we need to see more of him. And all that destruction on Harry Kane doesn't work in his favour at all. He might even not able to continue this tournament, especially if England do get knocked out of this stage. We don't want to see that, but Harry Kane needs to do more. How can he do more? I don't know. But Harry Kane needs to get more involved, because going forward at the moment, England, especially in the second half, 10 minutes gone, still 0-0. England are lucky to be a 0-0. That fantastic shot by Kai Havertz was a brilliant, only needed a brilliant save by Jordan Pickford to save it. Yes, it was heading towards him, but it was with a power, and it was coming just above Jordan Pickford. So he have to flex so hard, try to get to that ball. England need to do more. Harry Maguire with the ball. Harry Maguire is forward. And I don't know. I mean, Kieran mentioned earlier and that England are playing a defensive side, but even defensively, they're not doing that well at the moment. So Gareth Southgate needs to change the game. He probably thought he would be changing at half-time. Nothing changes at the moment. So if you're England fans, please be patient. We'll hope to bring you some good news throughout this commentary and a goal to England. We don't want to get it to extra time. We don't want to get it definitely not to penalties, because we know our record is not good with penalties, especially against the Germans. I don't recall personally penalties. So often when I think of penalties against the Germans, I think of the missed kick of Southgate and Spears. No, Raheem Sterling down the centre, just on the edge of the penalty. I tried to take on one and again fails to take on any players. Now Germans again on the counter-attack, 2 against 2. Havertz and Werner against Maguire and Stones. 2, Tony Werner on the edge of the penalty area. Goes on to try to take on John Stones, and that is a fantastic defending by John Stones. Fantastic defending by the Manchester City player on the Chelsea player. It needed John Stones at his best. But that is another big chance. And maybe Werner probably should have had a shot straight away, rather actually trying to take on John Stones on a different matter. I'll come back to Kieran after the corner kick. But I think Werner could have done better with that. And I don't think that would be the only last chance, the last chance for Tony Werner. We saw one in the first half. Now is this one. And we're even seeing more the way Germans are going. Plays short inside the penalty area. Goes back to Kroos. Kroos chips it inside the 6-yard area. Cleared by Harry Kane, who's all fit and well, and he goes to throw in to England. Kieran, quickly, in the next 10 seconds. It doesn't look good for England.
No, definitely doesn't. Germany's still looking very, very dangerous here.
Havertz towards from Thomas Muller, but cleared by England now, and it goes all the way, and there's no one up front for England, obviously they were defending the corner. But Kieran, it doesn't look well for England, and something drastically has to be changed by Gareth Southgate. Shape the team, introduce the 3 substitutions, but he needs to do something to change it, because this is not working at all.
He needs to do the same formation as what we do. Also, he needs to do a 3-5-2, and literally bring Conor Cody on, command that midfield, push the wing backs up to get us running down the field a little bit more. Get the likes of Sterling and Kane, or even take Kane off. Bring everyone like Sterling and Rashford, bring them both forward so they're able to play and try and get those goals in, because it's not going to happen the way we're playing at the moment. As you saw then, we had a chance to maybe have a decent shot there, but all the players are back because it's defensive football again, as it always is. It's becoming a bit of a pain in the ass to watch now, and it's just typical England again.
And now Germany again on the attack, but this time went safely and is ball with Luke Shaw, and England trying to generate an attack, even though, look at Sterling was surrounded by 4 players in an English half. I mean, that tells you the story that England can't even create an attack in the German half if Germany are actually surrounding the English players. And now it looks like a foul on Bukayo Saka, but I think the free sets play on. The German player Rudiger kicked the ball away. I think it was just clumsy from Saka, to be honest. I don't think Ginter done anything wrong. And if he had done anything wrong, then Ginter's in trouble because he's on the yellow. In fact, he hasn't done anything wrong. Looking at the replay, Kieran.
That's a very, very, very close challenge. Just clips the knee. But if his studs had taken Saka's foot out, that would have definitely been a straight red card. So it's definitely that was definitely a late challenge, but it was a clean one, as he managed to get his studs out the way before it became something more serious. So fair play for the ref for saying play on. But nice to have a little free kick, but that ain't going to happen.
Thank you, Kieran. Nearly an hour gone, 15 minutes inside the second half, and still England 0, Germany 0. You're listening to John Kane, and with me also is Kieran Riley, who is coming in every now and again with updates with Wimbledon, which if you got any updates, Kieran, go ahead.
Well, as I posted in the chat earlier, Manamo took the third set against the game with Federer. That set ended 6-3 to Manaro on court 1 at the moment. Mazdev is 3 games to love up in the second set, and he's already leading 1-0. And play is now underway on all the other courts after a fairly long rain delay. But I'll bring you more updates from there as we get them. Thank
you, Kieran. And like we said, it's still England 0, Germany 0. You're listening to the commentary hub. We've seen Jadon Sancho warming up. Personally, I think something drastic needs to be changed. And my personal opinion, I think the introduction of Jack Grealish is probably required because he's a player who can create things going forward. We've seen how he can create stuff. Take Kane off, and it hurts me to say this as a Spurs fan, and even my son's middle name is called Kane because of Harry Kane. Take Kane off for the sake of England. Have Sterling go play a bit more out as an out-and-out striker, and get Grealish play forward and support Raheem Sterling. But what do I know is Gareth Southgate and his lack of his waistcoat is actually lack of performance for England at the moment. And Luke Shaw inside the German half. And look at Luke Shaw again, like surrounded. Look at the German players. They're all over the English players. It's not really a team. It's like watching England looking for and aiming for an extra time and penalties themselves. They're not really doing anything at the moment. Anyway, the ball, Calvin Phillips to Harry Kane. Harry Kane chips it to Declan Rice. Now England on attack. Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side. Can England change things a bit to Declan Rice? Trippier, cross it inside the penalty area, but it's a bit too hard to Raheem Sterling. But it goes to Calvin Phillips on the edge of the penalty area to Raheem Sterling on the left. Raheem, cross it inside the 6-yard area, but no one too much on Harry Kane. It was way too much into the hands of the reliable Manu Noor. We say the reliable Manu Noor, and he's actually very, very reliable keeper, one of the best in the world. But we've seen more of Jordan Pickford this game, Kieran, than we've seen Manu, haven't we?
Yeah, we've definitely seen a little bit more Jordan Pickford managing to pull his finger out and pull off a few good saves, but definitely it's still a stressful time being an England fan right now. Hopefully, by the way this is going, maybe we can pip one in, but we definitely need to start pushing forward a lot more. And I agree with your statement about bringing Grealish on and taking Kane off. Kane really needs to come off. He's not performing well. Bring Grealish on. Yeah, I know he spends most of his time rolling around on the floor, but he's a good player for England, I must admit. He's rubbish for Villa, but I have to say that. But he's a decent player when he's playing for England. Just needs to learn to stay up off the floor.
Thank you, Kieran. I'm sure these words about Grealish from Kieran has been echoed through all over the Wolverhampton Wanderers fans all over the world, and even Birmingham City, but not from the Villa fans. Anyway, the ball with Germany. Germans are in control again, and they have been in control and possession. And I'll come back to Kieran in a couple of minutes just to give me all stats regarding possession of the second half. And I'm sure that it probably will show, from what I can see, it's more Germans than actually English in possession. And we can see it even going forward, even controlling the ball. The Germans have been really, really good at the moment. And I can't see how England, with the same mentality of the first half, they can actually pass through that German defense or even that German midfield. And just to note that again, that England midfielders, the centres, Rice and Phillips, both on a yellow, so they need to be careful with all these attacks from the German side. 1 or 2 mistakes can lead to a red card, so they need to be careful. So maybe a substitution is required in that position as well. Ball to Havertz on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Havertz trying to take on Kieran Trippier. Havertz has been phenomenal this tournament. Backwards, down the centre to the Rudiger. Again to Havertz on the left-hand side. Good move to Werner. Werner cross it inside the 6-yard area, cleared by the English defenders. And now Raheem Sterling on the counter-attack. The pace of Raheem Sterling. But all of a sudden, you see 4 or 5 players, defenders, defending back for Germany. And it's easily Kroos stopped Raheem Sterling. And it's a foul as well for England. And maybe England can take a bit of a breather from this. A breather is required by England. We've seen very few counter-attacks by England, but even the few counter-attacks hasn't been good enough. It hasn't been good enough for England, and the way it's going at the moment, we said before the match, and even at half-time, we don't want extra time, we don't want penalties. At the moment, the way England are playing, we're probably hoping for extra time and penalties rather than we see our team lose and get knocked out in the first 90 minutes of this game. England are not playing well as it stands. Kieran, quickly, possession-wise in the second half, it's been all Germany, I'll take it.
It's still 50-50, really. England with 47%, Germany with 53%. Germany with a few more shots the second half. It's coming up now 5 shots with 3 on target. England still with only 3 shots and 2 of them on target. Looking at their pass
probably more sorry, Kieran, but probably more productivity we've seen from the Germans for their positions, haven't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more dangerous play coming from the Germans than England at the moment. But it's certainly it's still a close game to call. But I still don't want to say anything too soon.
Thank you, Kieran. We'll come back to you at some stage. I don't know what else I can say about England, but change is needed and it should be imminent. We've seen Jadon Sancho warming up early on. We've seen Marcus Rashford warming up early on. We didn't see Jack Grealish, which is my tip, to change something in that game, regardless of what Wolverhampton's fans, including Kieran, will say. But I think he will be very good for England today. Try to change things. Fresh legs as well. We need someone who actually got pace, able to create things for England with fresh legs. But at the moment, it's all Germany. The possession, similar, like Kieran mentioned. However, the productivity of Germany has been much, much superior than England. And the ball again with Germany now. Pass it forward. And a cross towards Gosens. And it was straight in the hands of Jordan Pickford. We're going to see 2 subs shortly. It could be 1 German and 1 English. And I think Gareth Southgate has been listening to me because it looks like Jack Grealish is coming on in a minute. And also a German, very well-known German for the Arsenal fans mainly. Of course, Arsenal fans probably regret him leaving. That was Ganabi, who was ready to come on as well, Kieran. So we're going to see probably 2 dangerous players, German and an Englishman. And that's the ball. We'll come back to you in a minute. It's the ball towards Saka, but it's too much on Saka again. That even the crosses forward, that's probably not the first time, probably the second or third time I can remember, that ball goes forward. And now we're going to see the substitutions. Kieran, with the substitutions, we're going to see Gnabry coming in for Timo Werner. I'll see who's actually coming off for England. And obviously, it looks like Jack Grealish is definitely coming on. But whoever's coming on for is a good introduction to see that creativity coming on. But as for the Germans, Gnabry, even though it looks like Raheem Sterling coming off, possibly, it was Bukayo Saka's coming off. I do pardon. Bukayo Saka is actually coming off. and Jack Grealish is coming on. And but I'll speak to the Germans quickly. Gnabry for Werner is going to cause more problems for England, aren't he?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to cause some problems here. But as you say, Grealish is coming on now, so hopefully we can get some decent run-ins now. But hopefully he stays off the floor. But as you say, he's definitely going to cause us some problems. But we'll definitely have to wait and see how this plays out. Get him on the pitch, get him kicking the ball, and we'll see what happens. Still a fair way to go until we hit extra time. So let's see what happens. But you never know.
Thank you, Kieran. Obviously, Grealish fits in straight into what Saka's position was playing. I think with the Germans, it looks like probably what I probably was predicting was probably we'll see Havertz going a bit deep in an out-and-out striker, and Gnabry and Müller will be the ones who'll be supporting Havertz. And Havertz already got a couple of goals, if I remember rightly, 2 or 3 in this tournament so far. So I'm sure he'll be very happy to go a bit forward and try to cause more problems for Germany or for England, in fact. In the ball with England, Maguire to Declan Rice inside the German half on the left-hand side, going forward to Grealish. First touch of the ball. Jack Grealish straight away surrounded by 2 players, and now the ball been intercepted, and there's a foul on Grealish, and that's the first thing we get from Grealish is a foul. And we can see he was pulling a shirt off. I believe it was Kimmich, and then he ended up being a prosecutor. But having said that, we've seen so many different things from Jack Grealish for Villa this season. Of course, Grealish also is another player. They're talking about the big deal, one of the biggest deals in the Premier League's history. Jack Grealish and Harry Kane to Manchester City. And it looks like Jack Grealish, possibly even a done deal, according if you believe what has been said on social media in general. But let's hope that Grealish's mind is on this game rather than actually on Man City. Calvin Phillips with the ball inside the German half to the right-hand side. Raheem Sterling. Can Sterling add to his tally of 2 so far in this tournament? And there were England only 2 goals so far against the Czech and against Croatia. And we were expecting Harry Kane to do something, and it was Raheem Sterling's show. I'll say, goal-wise, performance-wise, I must admit, I haven't seen much of Raheem Sterling this tournament, performance-wise. But the goals, they made the difference, so let's stick with that. At least he knows that he can score goals, and it's a bit late challenge. That's a very late charge from Guzans on Kieran Trippier here. I don't know if it's going to be a yellow card with it, but it was a very late challenge. So it's going to be a yellow card on Guzans. So now we've got 2 Germans, 2 English on the yellow. Rice and Phillips from England, and Ginter and Guzans for Germany. I don't think it's gone to VAR this time, Kieran, but it could have easily gone to VAR.
Oh, definitely could have gone to VAR there. Luckily, I say unluckily, Goosens with the yellow card there. That's his first, so luckily he does not miss the next game. But he's still got to be careful if he gets another foul like that. Could be another yellow, and obviously he'll be sent off, and then they'll be down to 10 men. So it'd definitely be interesting to see how we play against 10 men. We'd probably still lose, but did I say that? Oh dear. It's
always been accepted to mention that, Kieran, if we're going to lose or not. And this performance at the moment, I mean, we've seen the introduction of Jack Grealish a few moments ago, but also again, we've seen the introduction of Serge Gnabry, and I'm sure Bayern Munich fans will tell you how great he is, and the Arsenal fans will tell you how disappointed they are by him losing the way he left. He had no future at Arsenal, and I'm sure we'll hear from Mike Harriman if he's available at some stage to tell us his disappointment on him leaving Arsenal when he left. Anyway, Kieran Trippier seems to be having a bit of an issue. He's on the ground, and possibly from the tackle from Guzans few moments ago. It doesn't look right and doesn't look good for Trippier in England. And Trippier's introduction, Trippier is a very rare player as far as I'm concerned, but I always tipped to have Reece James in this position going forward. He's been magnificent for Chelsea through a whole season, and I find out straight away I see Reece James is warming up. Kieran, if Trippier does get substituted, Trippier done his job doing his defensive duties, and his crossing's been good, to be fair to him, in general. But Reece James is the one also can be creative down the right-hand side, and we see for Chelsea so many times.
Yeah, it's definitely a...
It's not a worrying moment. It's not a worrying moment. What I'm trying to say for England, if Trippier does get substituted and replaced by James.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what's going through Southgate's mind. Trippier is obviously a decent player. Obviously, he knows when to get up and crack on. So it's definitely going to be one of them ones. We have to wait and see whether an injury will occur, but hopefully not. But like I said, it's England. You never know.
And we've got about 15 minutes to go till full time. And at this stage, it will be going to extra time and even the penalties that we've all been treading. We are dreading, but like I said, with this English performance at the moment, hasn't been good enough. And maybe penalties will probably do England a hell of a good to go out, and penalties are actually losing in 90 minutes. But let's see what Grealish can do. Grealish with the ball, nearly lost it, but done well to keep the ball in possession. And now pass it on to Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling trying to go to the centre, pass it forward to Harry Kane in the edge of penalty area. Again to Grealish. Grealish on the edge to Shaw. Shaw crossing inside 6. And it's a great goal by Raheem Sterling. Again, Raheem Sterling against all odds for England. Put England ahead. We thought Germany would be the ones who'd be scoring. But England, and the introduction of Jack Grealish, Luke Shaw from the left, a great move from Luke Shaw inside the 6-yard area, and Raheem Sterling from 6 yards into the German net. It's England 1, Germany 0, and it's against all odds, Kieran, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, it does not. What absolutely fantastic goal. Well deserved. As you can see, the Royals are very happy with that one. It was absolutely fantastic build-up play. I'm just watching the replay again. Sterling with a lovely, cheeky little run through. Played for the Harry Kane, who is definitely onside there. If they play that offside, it's going to be annoying. Then straight to Grealish. Lovely chip in there. Straight to Sterling. Open goal for him. Fantastic play by England. I knew it was coming. It's coming home, boys. England 1, Germany 0. Come on, boys.
It's a great goal. And it was a great introduction as well of Luke Shaw going forward into that in the way that he was progressing forward, managed to pass the ball to Raheem Sterling inside the 6-yard area. And like Kieran said, an open goal, and it's in. England 1, Germany 0. And now after all that pressure that we've seen from Germany in the second half and most of the first half, and now Germans are the ones in trouble and leaving the tournament with the likes of France and Portugal. But we don't care here. We want England to win. But now Germany on the attack. And there's a foul on the German player on the edge of the penalty area. And now Germany are having a dangerous free kick about a metre away down the centre of the penalty area, English penalty area. And it's another yellow card. And this time it's for Harry Maguire. Late tackle from Harry Maguire. Let's not make it a short-lived win position. Let's not make it short-lived, because these positions, we're talking about a yard or so away from 2 yards, possibly max, from the penalty area. And we know what the Germans can do. We've seen Havertz, we've seen Muller, we've seen Toni Kroos, who can shoot that ball. Toni Kroos is fantastic with his dead ball ability, but let's not make it short-lived. It's a dangerous free kick down the centre, ball towards the right-hand side. So it's anyone's ball. It suits a left-footed player. So but it looks like more of Kai Havertz, who's the one who probably more favourable to take the ball. Of course, he's got 2 goals under his belt. And a shot from Muller. It's a good shot, but it's a great block by England defence. It was a great block by that England wall. And it's by Raheem Sterling, and it's a throw in to Germany. Kieran, it was against all odds because England burned the second best throughout the game in general, especially in the second half. But it's what you translate your chances, and England managed to do so. Just that.
I know. Sorry, I'm still lost for words that we're a goal up after a beat. Obviously, they've heard me slating them off for them to go and do something like that. It's been a fantastic second half so far. What a fantastic play and what a goal! It's I'm still lost for words with the goal at the moment, John. It's could it be our year? Could it be our year? We've still got to find out what happens in the Sweden-Ukraine game, see who we're going to be playing in that one. But I don't know what to think at the moment, Joe. I really don't.
I would say let's not jinx it, Kieran. That's the only thing I would say. Of course, I don't think Kieran even born then. I don't know, 1992, if you were born or not. I remember England losing in the semi-final to Sweden in the Euros. Is it quarter-final or semi-final? I can't remember. Anyway, but I remember, or was it even the first round they lost to Sweden and they got knocked out. So I never underestimate Sweden, if they manage to beat Ukraine, of course. But at the moment, from what we've seen, I mean, Switzerland are through, aren't they? And we've seen Austria giving Italy a shock. So never estimate all these countries that we call them as small countries. We have to show respect to all of them and not go into the games thinking we are better than them or they are better than us. And on paper, it looks good because on paper today, England were the better team. However, most of the game, Germany been dominating. But yes, we have scored, but it's not over yet. We've still got just about 10 minutes to go. And the Germans are very dangerous. And never underestimate the Germans. The German efficiency can come and hit and bite you in the arse, excuse my language, if they needed to. England with the ball. Calvin Phillips. What England need to do now is just to relax a bit and try to control the ball. They use the possession they had throughout the game to their own advantage and not lose the ball. That's the main thing now. Now we've seen more of Harry Kane. Harry Kane and Jack Grealish were involved in that build-up over the goal. And now Declan Rice on the edge of the penalty area to Harry Kane. We start to see Harry Kane more after the goal. Maybe it's that confidence that he's needed. I don't know. Anyway, Kane is back with us. Thank you, Kane. He's going back with us in the game. And now Germany on the attack. Thomas Müller and the ball. Thomas Müller. Müller scores. Oh, what a chance for Germany. That was a chance and a half. And you bet your money on Thomas Müller one-on-one with Jordan Pickford to score. And I don't know how Müller missed that. Kieran, how did Müller, with his ability, misses that chance?
I don't know. I got a bit quick with the graphic there because I thought it had gone in, so I clicked goal for Germany, but quickly clicked it off when it went wide. How on earth do you have an open chance like that and not score a goal like that? Maybe it's because the pressure was on. Maybe Pickford put him off, or was it his own fans that put him off? I don't know. It's how do you miss from there? But I've just seen something at Wimbledon that when the England goal went in, a guy who's watching it on his phone got up and cheered and distracted the game that was on court one, which priorities, mate. But how do you miss from there? How do you miss from there? It's.
I think it was the relief person. I think it was Raheem Sterling. I think it was a mistake by the goal scorer, Raheem Sterling, who actually led to that dangerous counter-attack or mistake by the Germans. And Thomas Müller, literally, with his age, he was very good for his age. And this pace was fantastic. Gone, sprinted forward, one-on-one with Jordan Pickford. And then his shot was literally missed the goal, the right-hand post of Jordan Pickford, literally by inches. And he would have been no more disappointed than Thomas Müller himself with that chance. But for England, it's good that he missed it. But for the Germans, it's just telling us we are still there. We are still in the game. So let's keep taking them seriously and try to get even a second goal. Raheem Sterling with the ball, but intercepted. Goes back to Kieran Trippier, to Sterling. And it's a offside. There's a free kick, and we're going to see surely the introduction of Jordan Henderson. I don't know if Henderson is well and fit to be introduced, but obviously I don't like that introduction of Jordan Henderson because that means we're going to play more deeper than we normally are, and we're going to let the Germans go all over us in the last 7 or 8 minutes. So, but that's my thoughts. I'm with Kieran. We do need to attack. We need to defend, but Also, we don't need to have 4 or 5 players in that midfield and then just play to defend, because the Germans are very good at attacking, as they showed us throughout this game. And that was bleak of an attack for Germany, and in the hands of Jordan Pickford. We also, I think, we're going to believe we're going to see Emre Can coming in shortly, the ex-Liverpool player, who, of course, he's a very good established player, and baffles me how he ended up leaving Liverpool to Dortmund. But Emre Can is very good, and when he goes forward, he's one of the players that probably people don't notice. When he goes forward, he can cause a good. He's very, very can cause a threat for the players, for the teams that he played for. We got literally 6 minutes left here on the commentary hub. It's England 1, Germany 0, and can England just finish the job in the next 6 minutes plus injury time, or can the Germans find the goal? They were the nearest in scoring, and now Harry Kane with the ball. Harry Kane on the counter-attack, but he's a bit too slow. He should have used the advantage of, I don't know, personally, I think he should use the advantage of the sprint of Raheem Sterling going forward. But I think we start having the defensive mentality again, Kieran, in the last probably 5 or 6 minutes, which is very dangerous game from England.
Yeah, it's definitely dangerous play. It's going to be one of them ones. Oh, who went down then? I did not see who just went down there for England. Who's down on the floor?
We got a player who's actually off the pitch, but he looks like Declan Rice.
Oh, Declan Rice looks like he's pulled his muscle.
And now England in the attack. I'll come back to you in a minute, Kieran. England attack. Goes to Grealish on the penalty. Harry Kane! Harry Kane scores for England! It's the second goal for England. The second goal. And it's Harry Kane scored the second for England against all odds. And I'll say it against all odds because we haven't seen much of England. But it's the score that counts. And it's England 2. Germany 0, and I think it's all over now for Germany. They need 2 goals in the next 5 minutes, but we might even see VAR involved. I don't know, because there's a foul, and it's a bit all confusing at the moment. It looks confusing, Kieran, but I think the goal will stand. But with the VAR and with all the things that are happening lately, I'll say it's just not all over yet. Until we know the confirmation of the goal. Was Harry Kane offside? I don't know. I think it's going to go to VAR. I don't think he's offside, but I think we'll go to VAR. I think it's just about inside, and I think the goal will stand, Kieran.
Yeah, I'm hoping that does stand. I apologise. I must have screamed too loudly, and I clicked leave studio because I got kicked out when we scored. I apologise for any viewers that heard me scream quite loudly there when we scored. I'm hoping that does stand. But that was absolutely fantastic link-up play there from Stones and Kane to drop that in. As you can see from the cameras, England fans jumping all over the seats to celebrate. Could this be, like I said before, could this be our year? 2 goals Germany now need to find in the next 4 minutes. So it's definitely going to be a tough 5 minutes, but I think they're going to accept defeat. England 2, Germany 0. Wow. You could not write this script.
And it's a goal that we've been waiting for from Harry Kane. With all this dilemma with Harry Kane's goal, Declan Rice was injured off the pitch and he was in pain. And in fact, he's being substituted for Jordan Henderson. But the goal, the second goal, both goals had the element and the touches and the assist of Jack Grealish. So the introduction of Jack Grealish has been so vital for England that now you probably would expect Jack Grealish to start the game on that performance from Jack Grealish at the moment, Kieran, because the first goal, he was in that build-up, and the second goal, it was his assist from the left-hand side inside the penalty area, short cross, Harry Kane's header from just on the edge of the 6 yards, bam, England 2, Germany 0. And we needed Harry Kane to score, didn't we, Kieran?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's now giving him the boost. And maybe we'll see some more from him. But he's definitely had a boost there. I'm now struggling. Well, I say I'm struggling for man of the match. I know exactly who my man of the match would be. But obviously our commentary services one goes down to you, John. But yeah, definitely good link-up play. No penalty there, which I agree with.
No, it was a bit of a push and shove between Sterling and Rudiger. I think it's just the physical ability of Rudiger knocked off Sterling down the floor. Anyway, we've got 2 minutes left plus injury time. 2 important minutes. Let's keep a clean sheet now. England are leading by 2 goals, and now we see the introduction of Leroy Sané instead of Gosens, I believe, and Ginter is off as well. So I'll give you the substitution in a minute, and Emre Can is on as well. So Can and Sané on for Ginter and Gosens. They're going all attack Germany. They've got nothing to lose. They have to go forward. Rudiger cross forward, well intercepted by John Stones, and the ball goes to Toni Kroos. Toni Kroos. It looks so promising for Germany. I must admit, if you're a German fan, you've been watching the game up to this point that England scored, Germany would have thought this is our game. But in the end of the day, it's not about possession. It's about translating these chances and the possession into goal. Germany failed with the chances they had in the first and the second half. Tony Werner, 1-on-1 with Jordan Pickford. And, of course, in the second half, it was... let's go with the attack. Sané trips it inside the 6-yard area, cleared by Maguire, and shot from Emre Gorzica, I believe, and it goes to a goal kick to England. Just under a minute gone. And I believe, was that me who's supposed to give you man of the match, Kieran?
Yeah, it's definitely you to be giving your man a match, but we'll wait till the end of the game because something else could happen, even though there's 10 seconds left plus injury time.
We'll wait till the end of the game, indeed, and we are 5 seconds. I'm counting the seconds now on for the end of the game. 5 seconds plus injury time. We look at the replay. It was literally, there's no doubt, it was onside Harry Kane, and the boost that he needed, and the joy in Harry Kane's face was magnificent. It's like he was like a kid getting his best Christmas present ever. That's how happy he was, and rightly so. He's the England captain. He's been criticised for the first 3 games. He's been substituted in the first game against Croatia, and he says 10 minutes before the game ended, "No, I'm here. I'm back. I'm leading the game. Germany on the attack." It goes to Germany on the attack, and it's 4 minutes. Let's not see disastrous 4 minutes for England. We've seen it for Spain, and it's a double kick by the German player, and it goes wide, and it's a goal kick for England. It's 4 minutes. We're playing the first minute of stoppage time, but I would not call the shots yet, as Kieran said. I mean, we've seen Croatia coming back from 3-1 to 3-0 to injury time. We've seen Switzerland coming back in injury time from 3-2 to 3-0. So I'm not counting my chickens up just yet, but because it's a game that the Germans have played well, we can't deny that. But England are the ones coming victorious if it stays as it is. And let's face it, Kieran, it's the goals that counts, not the possession that counts. Definitely,
as we said before. Just put a poor picture there of a young German family with their daughter crying. That's a shame. That's football though. It happens.
That's football. We've seen English fat kids crying for years and years and years. If it was from the Germans or the Dutch or the Swedes, you just name your pick. So hopefully these children who are now adults can celebrate and forget the past and concentrate on the future. And maybe without jinxing it, they can see it coming home in their adulthood. We've got 2 minutes left of injury time. England are the ones who are heading to the next round. And of course, if it stays as it is, they'll be playing the winners of Ukraine, Sweden, which will be coming up after this game with our own Ross Vernon. Germany with the ball. Toni Kroos, cross it forward inside the penalty area in the safe hand of Jordan Pickford. I will give you man of the match. We've got a minute and a half left. I'll give you man of the match, Kieran, but I'll keep you in the background till the remaining last seconds. For me, it's going to be Jack Grealish, because Jack Grealish came in and he has changed the game for England. They've gone forward with Jack Grealish. He had hands on both. He had the main asset of the second, and he had an asset in the first as well. And the introduction of Jack Grealish made a big difference. And I was calling through my commentary before he came on to bring on Jack Grealish, and I was spot on. We've got a minute left of injury time, and it's a free kick right in the centre of the English half. Can we see Manu Noor going forward? He has to go forward now, surely. Is this going to be Joachim Löw's last game in charge? It looks like it. It's going to be the last game in charge for Germany, and it's going to be in the hands of the English. It's going to be a bit disappointing for Joachim Löw. Cross forward, cleared by Calvin Phillips. The ball still in the danger zone, and it's cleared by England by Jordan Henderson, and it's a throw in to Germany on the left-hand side. Half a minute left. Noor inside the English fight. We expect him to go forwards, cross it inside the penalty area. Cleared by Germany. Cleared by England, in fact. Goes to Rudiger. To Noor. Noor hoofs it forward. 15 seconds to go. Everyone's counting. The longest 10 seconds for any English fan. Sané clears it. The ball's going all over the place. Chan to cross. So much time is over. It says it's over. It looks like it's over. The ball's still inside the penalty area. And it is now. And England are through to the next round. Well done, England. It's not the joy to watch. It's not the joy to watch from England's performance, but it's the best performance England can hope for. Well done, England. And bad luck for Germany. Good luck next time for next performance. But this is Joachim Löw's last game in charge ever as a German manager. Will say it was a great performance from Germany throughout Joachim Löw's career. But let's forget about that. We're bringing on JB. We're bringing on Kieran. I'm going to bring on Ross Vernon shortly. It was a great game, scoreline-wise. Let's forget about the performance. What counts is the scoreline. It's England 2, Germany 0. JB, thank you for coming back. You taking over. I'll be in the background. And I'll tell you what, it was a game I'm glad I commentated for because we needed Jack Grealish to come in. I've been shouting for Jack Grealish to come in. And he was involved in the build-up in the first, and he created the second. And oh my God, the joy on Harry Kane's face, that was beautiful to watch. JB.
Wow, thank you very much indeed to John Kane. A superb commentary exhibition, if ever I saw one, and a big game in its magnitude. But I've got something for the Germans out there. Jürgen Klinsmann, Michael Schumacher, Rudi Völler, Boris Becker, Angela Merkel. You boys took one hell of a beating. Angela Merkel, your boys took one hell of a beating. England are through to the quarterfinals of the European Championships. And this is what we wanted tonight. Yes, it wasn't vintage. Yes, it wasn't pretty. But we got the job done. And look at the joy on Harry Kane's face. This man had the weight of the world on his shoulders. And when he nodded in that second one, oh, you could just feel the relief around Wembley Stadium then. It's a joyous occasion for England. That is for sure. It's up there with 1966, 2001 when we thrashed them in a qualifier in Munich. Euro 2000 when we beat them in Charleroi. This is got to be up there. England now have got the greatest chance they've ever had in a tournament for a very long time. Their biggest game since the World Cup semi-final 3 years ago, and they did not disappoint at all. England are into the quarterfinals where they'll play the winners of Ukraine and Sweden. You'll be able to hear that at 8 o'clock with Russ Vernon. And Russ is with me alongside Kieran. Let's bring Russ in if he's there. Russ Vernon, what a result! What a result, Russ Vernon! Go and get your opinion.
What a result! Fantastic performance. And I just want to ask people out there, and to you and to Kieran and John, is it coming home? Because for me, it's coming home.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way, Russ. We have got the biggest chance for a very, very long time, possibly since 1990, potentially here. I mean, you look at the way the shocks have come. Well, we've seen the French fall by the wayside. We almost saw the Spanish fall by the wayside. Croatia lost yesterday, and then today, well, you knew our name was on the match as soon as Thomas Muller at 1-0 missed a glorious opportunity. A man that has been the scourge of England for so many years.
Yes,
2010 when he,
as I mentioned in previous games after the Croatia game, after the Scotland game, after the Czech Republic game. I know he scored the opening goal tonight, and I know he scored against Croatia and against Czech Republic. But for me, if Muller had scored that, Sterling, and we'd have gone on to lose, Sterling, for me, I would have not wanted him in an England shirt again because he would have cost us that game. But thankfully, Thomas Muller missed, and I think it's all down to who I'm going to say my man of the match is. I know I'm not going to pick man of the match. We'll get John Kane's thoughts for man of the match in a second. But for me, my man of the match today for England, Jordan Pickford. Magnificent saves.
Oh, yes,
kept us into
absolutely.
0-0. Kept us in when we were still 1-0 up. And he was my man of the match. John Kane, would you agree
Well,
that Jordan Pickford was man of the match?
John, man of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services. Who's your vote?
I said it to Kieran earlier, it's going to go for Jack Grealish because the introduction of Jack Grealish made all the difference. Yes, Jordan Pickford had a big game today, and I can't fault him in any way, but I'm going to go with Jack Grealish only being his introduction. I don't know if you listen to the commentary. I called for him to come in because we needed a sort of creativity that has been lacking for England throughout the game. And the minute he came on, you can see he was causing problems for the German defense. In the first 2-3 minutes, he was going in. He was trying hard to get the ball. He was trying to take on the players. And then minutes later, he had a hand in the first goal. And the second goal, it was a beautiful cross to Harry Kane. And like I said, for me, it's going to have to be the man who actually came on and changed the game, and that's Jack Grealish. Sorry, Ross.
No, don't be sorry. I mean, that's a good shout.
Guys, John, it's a good shout, mate. It did change the game, but for me, I thought Pickford made some crucial saves to keep England in it when it was still a 0-0, and even when we was 1-0 up, he made crucial games.
If I may, JB, quickly.
Go on.
First, I would like to congratulate England for winning this. I felt when I was commentating, and especially when we got the second, and we thought that's it. Hopefully, we're not going to get this because we've seen what Croatia did in injury time. We've seen
absolutely, yes.
We've seen what Switzerland did as well.
And the Swiss as well, and they won on penalties, didn't they?
Absolutely. So it's very dangerous to say we already won it on 2-0, even though we got 2 minutes plus 4 minutes of injury time. But it was a good, solid defense wise from England, and I hope it's coming home. I really do is coming home, but that performance need to improve a bit because we had holes that the Germans managed to expose. A German team which is not good enough. Yes, the French are out, the Portuguese are out, but we still got the Belgians. We still got Lukaku. If we need to be the best, we need to beat these best.
John, they're on the other end of the draw. We don't worry about those now. What we've got to worry about is the next game. That's Sweden and Ukraine, which Russ Burnham will be bringing to you. Let me read a few comments that's come up on my channel, JB Sports. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in on JB Sports and the Commentary Hub and Periscope and Twitch and Twitter. It's been absolutely amazing. The response has been unbelievable, through the roof tonight. Ewan McIntyre says, it's proof that Grealish must start. He also goes on, hashtag it's coming home. We've also had a German supporter, and I hope you don't mind me saying this. We've had Dr. Karash, I think that's how you pronounce it. Should Germany lose, Muller will be haunted in his dreams for quite some time. And, Ewan, I think Ewan makes the best point of all. It finally happens. Kane scores, and it couldn't have come at a better time. And let's face it, Kieran, I mean, the weight of the world was on his shoulders, but when he head nodded that ball there, the relief that came through on his face was there for all to see, wasn't it? It was fantastic to see.
Oh, it was fantastic to see, but to be honest, I think I spent more time dancing around my bedroom than I did actually actually keeping an eye on everything. I'm just watching the replay now of the BBC team all celebrating. Rio Ferdinand going absolutely mental when the second one went in. So it has been an absolutely fantastic game. We needed this. Harry Kane needed this because up until now, I did not rate him at all. And obviously, Muller, he's going to be haunted by the fact he's one-on-one with Jordan Pickford and he misses from less than 10 yards, from about 15 yards out. I mean, who misses from there when you're at the top of your game like Thomas Muller is? It is absolutely mad. I'm still lost for words. It has been do we dream I know it's not the final yet, but do we still
No.
dream that it's coming home?
Well, let's face it.
It is coming, Kieran. It's coming home for me, my friend.
Well, you can tell what Ross thinks of that. As far as I'm concerned, that was the most difficult hurdle, really, because with the Dutch going in our end of the group now, that blows it wide open. Now, the only team I would fear right now, and this is not disrespecting the next match between Sweden and Ukraine, but I'd be fearing the Czech Republic at the moment. The way they played last night against last night, I'd be worried about them a little bit. But against the Dutch, I thought they were superb against the Dutch. So they're the only team I would fear a little bit. But having said that, we beat them in the group games, so we have experience of beating them. But I'm now getting more confident. I wasn't confident after the 3 group games, but then again in 1966 we weren't exactly brilliant in the first 3 games either. And then
that's me dad, guys.
Well done, Mr. Vernon. That's Russ's dad. I don't know his first name, but Mr. Vernon, you heard Mr. Vernon there, Russ's dad. Apologies, I don't know his first name, but he's happy, he's jubilant, and I think we all are really. And we have to say, fantastic there. Great commentary from John Kane. I don't know what you guys thought about it at home, but I've absolutely enjoyed every single minute of it. I have now. But
yeah, but I just want to point something out as well.
Yes, Dickie World.
At this tournament, Euro 2020, Kylian Mbappe, Thomas Muller, how many goals did they get in the tournament?
None.
0. Harry Kane, 1 goal of the tournament. Kane is better than Mbappe and Thomas Muller.
Yes, and the weight of the world is off his shoulders now. The weight of the world is off his shoulders. It needed a moment of genius. Jack Grealish coming on, turned the game. That was John Kane's man in the match, and I think he was right. But, of course, Russ makes the point. If Pickford doesn't save from Havertz in the second half, Kieran, then it might have been a completely different story.
Oh, yeah. I think if Muller had got that in, it would have definitely been I reckon it would have been an extra time game, but thank God it didn't. That second goal from Kane, if that had been ruled offside, I don't know what we would have done. I think there would have been, even though we were still 1-0 up, there would have been absolute uproar from England fans around the blooming world. It was a very good game. I'm impressed. As much as I was slating England at the start, they must have been listening because they came out the second half towards the last end of it fighting. And look what it gives us. 2 fantastic goals. Nice little flick in from Sterling and then a nice little cheeky header from Harry Kane. All well deserved. It's going to be interesting to see who we get in the semi-finals. Like we say, coming up, we've got Sweden against Ukraine with Russ, if he's in a good enough mood to be able to commentate.
I don't think there'll be much down about that, Kieran. He's on cloud 9.
Oh, cloud 9. I'll be happy to commentate on that, and I'll just be wondering who we're going to get. Will it be Sweden? Will it be Ukraine?
Well, let's ask that final question to all 3 of you. I'll bring in our commentator first, John Kane. Who do you fancy in the quarterfinals, John?
I'm going to go stick my neck in for Sweden. I think the Swedish team, this tournament, they're playing very similar. And I'm sure, John, JB, you're probably as old as I am.
Yes, I am.
Or remember the Danish team that won in 92. They play
Euro 92.
They play very, very similar football. So I'll be very wary of the Swedes if they manage to go through. Because so far, they've been playing very similar football. And I think they're going to overtake Ukraine. And I hope England, if Sweden do progress, I hope England will be able to go through that. But it would not be an easy game. But let's hope it's coming home for England in the end of the day. So that's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, there's no mugs when you get to the last 8. Who do you fancy quickly, Kieran? Who do you fancy?
I'd
pressure.
love to see Sweden. I'd love to see an England-Sweden game.
2 votes for Sweden. And Russ, our commentator on that one tonight. Come on, hand on heart. Who do you fancy England getting in that quarterfinal? Last word with you.
Yes, I think he's going to go to extra time, my game. I think he may go to penalties as well. And I'm going to say Sweden just to edge it on penalties.
Thank you very much. So,
I just want to ask, JB, with you being the presenter today, who do you fancy in the quarterfinals, Sweden or Ukraine, my friend?
to be honest with you, either one of them are doing me. The point of the matter is we've beaten the Germans. We've come over the toughest hurdles. And I think now, I mean, I'd be happy with both of them. I mean, Sweden aren't so bad. I think Sweden are a good side. Very underrated, but I think we'd be too much for them. If we can play like we did tonight, then who knows? But that's it. I'm totally wiped out. Russ is going to have a quick lie down. He's breakful as well. He hasn't got no extra time because it would have interrupted his prep. He's now off to do the prep for the game between the Ukraine and Sweden. Again, you can hear live in about just over 40 minutes live here on the commentary hub with JB Sports and Periscope and Twitter and Twitch. I hope you can join Russ then for that. But and my big thanks, of course, to Russ himself, to John Kane, our top match commentator, and what a top job he did. And Kieran, of course, Kieran Riley alongside him, who was absolutely superb. But I just want to end with this line from the great Barry Davis. Where were on the Kane second goal? Where were the Germans? Well, quite frankly, who cares? Good night.